Yo, we are live, Wrestle Purist Live, hosted by myself and Joe Hulbert today. Dynamite was last night, following an AEW Dynasty show that I honestly think, Joe, was one of the most negative vibes, reactions that I've seen coming out of an AEW pay-per-view, maybe ever, you know. A big section of the AEW fan base was not happy. Swerve Strickland losing to John Moxley in the main event legitimately broke many AEW fans, including our own AEW Dynamite team. So they still need some recovery time, you know. So myself and Joe Hall, but we've moved Wrestle Purist Live to this slot, which is normally the Dynamite review. We're not going to do a Dynamite review. We'll talk a little bit about the main points from Dynamite, but not a full-on review and whatever else comes up, you know, over the past few days. And but yeah, like I said, Dynamite was last night. Busy week as always in wrestling. We got some things to talk about. First things first, please like, subscribe, send any super chats with any topics or anything you want us to get into from Dynamite or anything else that's been going on in wrestling recently. And yeah, hope everyone's doing good. What's going on with you though, Joe? You good?
I am. I feel a little bit uneasy about being on Wrestle Purist on a Thursday. Brings me back to times in my life.
Traumatic.
Yeah. just looking at the calendar, like shaking in fear, you know, as I was waiting for the link. No, I'm happy to be here. I had a little bit of a shaky moment last night coming out of the main event. But other than that, I've been pretty chill. I went live just for the main event.
Okay.
And Samoa Joe was in that match for like 90 seconds, maybe. And it made me quite mad. And then I began to wonder if the Mania match, the Double or Nothing match was Hook and John Moxley, and I got the shakes, and then I got rattled from it. But other than that, I've been pretty. I've been pretty. Everyone's losing their mind. I don't lose my mind. There's Mid-South to watch, you know? I've got other stuff to worry about.
Yeah, bro, there's some tapes. You always know, Joe, you can hit me up if you ever need some of those Save Network videos, you know, those tapes.
We're big library guys, you and I. Hey, library guys.
Yeah, hey, man, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you need to mix up the variety, bro. The funniest thing about what you just said is that I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that Samoa Joe's lack of activity in that match probably personally affected you more than the Dynasty main event.
Dude, way more. So much more that it's like embarrassing. I just wanted, because I was thinking, I looked at the matchup and I thought, whatever anyone thinks of Wheeler Yuta, he's a sort of willing heel, right? He'll bump around for a bigger guy and make a fool of himself. And that would be a good combination. Claudio and Joe, that would be fun. And I didn't really get any of what I was looking for. So I was more mad about that than, all this big picture stuff is way gone for me. As 2023 Bert would worry about that. I just wanted to see Samoa Joe and Claudio did the dance, bro. So I was disappointed in that, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, for real. You can't get too emotionally attached. You know, like you said, 2023. No. I think that was around the time when I was I can't let them pull me in too much. You know, like I still enjoy, even love AEW, bro. But I don't think I've never been fully like, you know, like hooked. You know, the way that like so many of our friends are like completely shattered out of like after Dynasty. I've not allowed myself to like get that invested, if that makes sense. You know, like personally invested.
It's honestly an interesting topic, and it's like very inside baseball, so it probably is only interesting to like 10 people, but the fine line between allowing yourself to become invested and being so invested that it's like dangerous is actually interesting to me, legitimately. Because I'm sure you saw the video. My friend Novi was, I watched the pay-per-view with him, and his big thing going at the show was like, take a stand, fight for what you believe in. Bro. Yeah, and it resulted in quite an explosive reaction to the main event. And on some level, I respect it. On other levels, I think, do I have the time to stress that much about Swerve Strickland's booking? I don't know if I do. So it's an interesting... Nobody's in our chat now, bless his heart. Still recovering. But it is an interesting thing. I'm at a point where I think I'm most comfortable kind of just observing from afar. Just seeing, the kids seem to be having fun this week. That kind of vibe.
It's interesting though, because when you bring up Novi and you bring up any of the other people that have allowed themselves to get into that dangerous territory,
right?
That's the beauty of it, bro. When we follow these sports, and we will call professional wrestling a sport. I'm Wrestle Purist, okay? When you follow these sports, whether it's a team sport or whatever, bro, it's part of the beauty. It's the ups and downs, These sort of downs make the ups better one day. But the thing is that's very scary about AEW, as our guy Novi pointed out on some of his previous streams, is there's no this is it, bro. It's not like Cody Rhodes at Mania 39, where it's like, well, he's definitely winning at 40 now, and he was still the main character, Whereas that day doesn't look like it's on the horizon for Swerve right now. I'm sure he'll win the World Championship again, but just not in this, this phase that AEW is in right now. It's going to be obviously, I think the top two contenders naturally now will be either Ospreay All In or Darby when he comes back. I think
it's. I tend to agree. I will say this. I mean, everyone can watch wrestling however they want. I would rather someone live and die with the result of a match than the gate, or the Wrestle Ticks update. You know what I'm saying? I'd
watch Dynamite if it falls below 0.25.
Yeah, just sitting there house is down again. So yeah, I'd rather that, and everyone watches it differently. It is an interesting thing to experience. I mean, you were with me for the famed Civil War affair, and I was invested in that. I'd have been really bummed out if Roman had beat Jey Uso that night. So
it was a real possibility, bro, because it was that was Jay on that night was the first person to pin Roman in 3 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So obviously with Roman, the run that he was on at that time, it was completely feasible that it was Roman's gonna come in, there'll be loads of heat, Roman's gonna milk it, he's gonna win, he's gonna throw the one up and go home. That was always a possibility, bro. It's not WrestleMania, he's gonna come in, he's gonna melt the heat, and there's a good chance he might go over in that triple threat match.
He better. There's no fun in any other result than Big Rome going over, brother. I mean, it is what it is, So it is what it is.
Man. The thing is, though, bro, the rumor mill would suggest that Seth is either going to go through a character change or do something that will coincide with a push for him coming out of WrestleMania. Same with CM Punk. Maybe not so much on the big character shift. They might turn him heel. I'd be all for it, bro. But I mean, in terms of him, it seems like he's being lined up for a push post Mania. Roman's definitely going home. There's no doubt in my mind that Roman's not sticking around after Mania, fam.
What you're saying makes sense, but I'm looking at it as a maths equation. It's if Punk wins, he's not pinning Roman. He'd have to pin Seth. I think Seth, even at that point, would be Jesus, enough. He's kicked out of every move I do. I'm not being pinned by CM Punk again. If Seth wins, he has to pin Punk or Roman. I'm not sure either guy will be rushing for that assignment. So then if you do the maths and you turn it so that Seth can get pinned by Roman and everyone goes home safely.
It's just maths. It depends, man. It feels like, obviously, with the way that they've built it, almost feels
Seth should probably win. Yeah.
No, but it's what are the chances that they just have a triple threat match and go home, There's going to be some Heyman. There's going to be some Bloodline.
It's going to be revolting.
Shield law, it's there's going to be all those things going on. So
the finish.
I don't know. So that's what I'm saying. When you start to think of the finish, it's if they do the big Heyman thing, which is definitely which is obviously a WrestleMania main event worthy angle. It's you can see Roman Reigns actually doing a job for the sake of that angle, you know. So
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, maybe they do a finish where like Roman and Punk are in a double down, and Paul Lee goes up top, and he has to pick which one he splashes.
flying
And
headbutt.
instead, he just there's a flying headbutt to both of them, and Seth gets a double pin, stacks them. Just ideas.
Man. Gives him a nod on the way out.
It's probably going to be the finish. Of that match is probably going to be like absurd, isn't it, with the theatrics and such. I mean, I'm not trying. Again, I think the match will be good, but like the finish specifically, it's going to be very.
Man's well conditioned now, though, to these.
Oh yeah.
Quote finishes, if we even call them that anymore.
Yeah, finishes, scenes,
these
cut scenes.
Final chapters of the match. Yo, because like I said, bro, like the bloodline drama. You know, everyone knew those matches weren't finishing until the Usos came out, till Solo came out, till Heyman distracted the referee. With Mox now, it's the exact same like problem that they have now with it's festered a lot more recently, you know, with those last two pay-per-view matches. Which is like, you know, nothing real is gonna happen in those Mox matches until like 1, 2, 3, 4 people have come out and been dealt with, you know. Then the books come out, they finally get dealt with, and then the books come out.
Yeah, it's weird. It doesn't. Whatever you thought of the Bloodline matches, you know, when Roman was champion, what you're describing, it felt more like a natural. Natural's a strong word. It felt more organic to attach it to those matches than what it does to these Moxley matches. These Moxley matches feel like 3 different matches sort of sandwiched together, and then there's the big finish on the end. It's like, it's hard to explain. I mean, the match on Swerve's the best example, I think, because there was genuinely like 3 matches in there, and they didn't really know which one to do, and then they did a big Attitude Era finish. It was very strange. Very strange.
When the Ops came out, bro, that was when it was just like...
Enough, yeah.
After Hangman, you know. Come on, Tony, get it together, bro. Please. You know, I'm missing out on gate money because of you, bro. You know, Dynamite review in the mud. You know what I'm saying?
How long do you think you got until the Raw review? Like, just both of them don't exist. We just do a double shot for Wrestle Furious Live and talk about like the 80s or something.
The thing is with the Raw review is Ibu always complains about the time of day. You know, he's bad with afternoons. I got Ibu, you know. But it's not even a review though. That's the thing. That's the actual trick with the Raw review that Ibu
just
and
don't
Rob
talk
are doing.
about it.
Yeah, man. Like, it's not really a Raw review. You know, if there's those big topics, they'll hit them. They'll hit those big topics. You know, like on Tuesday, they hit the Jay and Gunther angle. They hit the Heyman and Seth angle. You know, they'll talk about the big things that people are actually talking about. But I think like AO did his running and he did like a whole rant about Swerve and like
what, the Raw review?
That's what I'm saying, bro. AO's a Fed soldier now, though. So people aren't realising.
So,
you know,
if we keep missing these Thursday houses as a business and you have to do the dreaded mass releases, will you announce them on Wrestle, or will you leak them to the media like the wrestling companies do now? Which one will you do?
Leak them to Sean.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, can you tell these wrestlers we fired them by any chance? Is that you do that?
People are dreading the phone call. The Jamie Ross phone call.
You get the Jamie brother call of like, just nothing for you right now, and then you, as soon as you log on, you just see release from wrestlers. Like, good God, I didn't even give me time. Yeah, it's wild.
All right, let's we got a couple super chats, you know. Like I said, keep them coming, people, because like I said, this is not really going to be a full-on Dynamite review. There's a few things, obviously, I've put a pin in, and I want to kind of bring up. But you know, I want to let you guys kind of like guide this show as usual with Wrestle Furious Live, really. So let's dive in. Darren 199, ideal booking for Slay Wyatt in brackets Alexa post WrestleMania. Well, it doesn't look like she's doing anything at Mania, so.
I think she might be doing something, but not a match.
I hope so. I hope so. So
I don't know this, but Backlash is like, I think it's like 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks after WrestleMania. It's really close, dude. It's like the first weekend of May. Really close. I have a feeling the Judgment Day 6 thing is delayed for that reason. I do not know that. This is genuinely me just guessing. I also think there could be a plan for them to do something at WrestleMania, and that gets slashed because everything gets slashed on WrestleMania weekend. It's an insane time, right? Like, we've heard 1,000,001 stories like that. So we'll see. I think the ideal booking, and I know that our friend Rob does not agree with me on this, and that's okay. I mean, it's fine. I think the 6 stuff is the way to go, personally. I don't think Alexa has any real interest in being like serious grappler Alexa. And I don't mean that as a knock. I just think
that's
like
the thing, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah, I think to me it's like you have to find a way to kind of keep her featured and use her as an attraction because she does give you something different in the division. But I don't think anyone would benefit from her being like a featured contender, you know? So the 6 thing makes sense to me for that reason.
Yeah, so when you hear her kind of talk every now and again, when she does talk about like kind of the runs that she's had recently, what she wants to do, it's kind of, you know, she doesn't really strike as the sort of person who's like, oh, I want to come back in and grind to the top and win the world title, you know, and it's not a slight on her or anything. She wants to come in, she wants to enjoy herself, you know.
Right.
She loves doing the Wyatt stuff, she loves doing the character stuff, and she's good at it. The people like her, and as Joe said, it's just best if you do keep her around as kind of like a featured attraction act. And if that means that she's doing the character stuff, like people have a connection with the Wyatt 6 stuff, obviously. I think the Wyatt 6 does need some star power. It all just makes so much sense, you know. Obviously, I completely understand. I completely understand kind of like the people wanting it to be like, bro, if I thought that is what, and obviously we don't know her, bro, but like if I thought that Alexa Bliss was like locking in and wanted to come back as the goddess again, I'd be fired up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I don't really have any belief that is the case with her. So, you know,
yeah.
But
and again,
I think she can still be very useful.
We've both said it. That isn't us being like, she don't want it bad enough, bro. Right? It's just like everyone's different, and when you hear her talk about wrestling, I think she has like a very different goal to someone like Charlotte Flair who wants to come back and, you know, this chase belts, this make classics. Like, I don't think that's how Alexa thinks at all. The Wyatt 6 thing is interesting because I know a lot of people are down on it and it hasn't been around for a long time. I do think that the core idea is interesting, and I'll always feel that way. Like the whole idea of kind of, you know, like wrestling with grief with these characters and those VHS promos they did. That was interesting stuff, you know. So maybe I think the Alexa one could be very good. We'll see how it looks, but it's hard to be confident in any direction because it has to be said, wherever you stand on the matter, it's been pretty weird, hasn't it, the Alexa situation thus far? Pretty weird.
One of the weirdest things going on over there.
Yeah.
Even after that drama on Friday.
Yeah, but what's the beauty of Alexa Bliss is that it's weird. It doesn't feel weird for her because it's just like, it's just kind of she just kind of comes and goes. Some of it doesn't even seem to be her choice. This doesn't seem that way at all. She had a really weird, like, I guess it's probably been 5 years now, like on and off, you know. Fascinating.
Yeah, her 2020s. You know?
The 2020s. The 2020s of Alexa Bliss.
From pinning Randy Orton to...
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't even have a good comp for it because she's been popular the whole time. Obviously, she's had times where she was hurt, she had the pregnancy, obviously all that stuff. But beyond that, she would just kind of start and stop. Very strange run. She had the stand up, sharp and fight me run where she was just like a mild mannered lady who had a doll. Sometimes she's spooky. It's weird, dude.
And she sometimes like she'd give Bianca like a side eye, you know.
Oh,
that's... like the heel's coming. The heel turn's coming,
dude. The funniest thing about that was like, because that was 2022, right?
Oh no, bro.
I think it was because I think that was like early days worldwide. Asuka, Bianca, and Alexa were like the babyface trios. And you and I were like the only people in the world that were like, there's a heel turn coming here. And what made it funnier was they did it. It wasn't any good. They did it. And months later, she confirmed that she was attempting to do some sort of like layered performance art. Do you remember this? I think you were the one that sent it to me. I'm certain you did. There was like a tweet where she goes, I wasn't uninterested. I was just setting things up for the heel run. And you and I were like, we nailed it!
It's coming back to me. Listen, she's an artist, bro. She's an artist.
Private victory lapped, bro.
Listen, real artist, you know, she's gonna write a book one day, you know. And
oh my God.
I will be there for it, you know.
Yeah. You call like Lily and Me. Lily and Me, the Alexa Bliss story.
It's something like that. Anjan PN, $2. Appreciate you as always. Mox must beat Roman's 1,316 day record. Hashtag graphs greater than graps. What do you think, Joe?
I'm a big graphs guy.
Famously.
Big on numbers, bro. Big on numbers.
The final boss, 199. Tony has lost the plot. This what I'm saying is obviously we've already kind of touched on kind of the reaction coming out of Dynasty, but like I said, a lot of people were kind of hoping for like this big uplifting bounce back Dynamite, you know. Tony's seen the reaction, guys, and bro, the card was looking that way as well, you know what I'm saying? And you know, just in action, in execution. In many different that first 30 minutes was fucking insane. Or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was funny though, because like for all the talk of, as you're saying, there was this talk. He's putting together an apology card and all that. I don't think that was what that show was. Oh, I actually think, there is increasing evidence that Tony has reached the final complete tier of wrestling booker, which is they all get there, folks. Fuck, I bet any money, and I don't work in All Elite Wrestling. I bet at some point in the last month he said the letters IWC in a negative to me. I bet you he sat there in creative and he said, the damn IWC's at it again. And I'm not, I'm not burying him because that's a rite of passage, dude. You book wrestling long enough, you go, fuck it, these internet marks, what do they know? Go back to watching the indies, you know? They all do it. Tony he's made it, brother. Congrats, Tony.
Super Chat's name I'll never say. $2. Appreciate you as always though. Monty versus HBK's booking is an underrated rivalry.
True.
It's because I don't have the real energy to like crash out about stuff, you know. So it's just like
you do hate it though. It does pop me. You think it's terrible.
Yeah, I'll message Joe and post like a picture, you know. And that's it. But yeah, man, that's a show I watch every week. You know, I do the live tweets and stuff. So I see the crimes that Sean is committing on a weekly basis, bro. And he gets away with a lot because obviously a lot of the audience that would criticize and poke the holes in like booking and stuff like that are not watching that show, bro. You know, yeah. So it's like a lot of people, and it's better. And this is the best way to watch it with NXT. Is just to kind of go in there, you know. It's bright and colourful. Some big personalities. Have a good time. Have some fun. You know, that's what it is, bro. That's just what it is. You can't go in there expecting like really great, logical, in-depth storylines and great wrestling and the right people getting pushes and positioned well and, you know.
I'm sorry. I was trying to remember. There was one NXT show that broke you to the point where you sent me like 8 messages about it without any interruption. And I was thinking, what show? So I typed it on my WhatsApp, Gallus, and I found it. Ready? I'm going to go.
I don't even know what this says, bro.
If anything crazy comes, I won't read it, I promise. But it says,
censor it.
You said, I missed the opener, which was the highlight of the show. Wes Lee versus Dijak, which is hilarious, by the way. The tag title match was okay. They tried hard. You know what that means? They put the belts on Kiana James and Fallon Henley. It's only their second match together. This is the one that I remembered. They had New Day's last NXT match on a pay-per-view with a decent house versus Chase U, Pretty Deadly, and the eventual winners, fucking Gallus. They booked a 2 out of 3 Falls Apollo Crews match. Why? Roxanne working with Toxic Attraction leftovers. And the main event was mid.
This is what was going on. When was that even from?
February 2023.
Was it a hot minute ago? 2 years ago, bro.
Damn,
Yo. That's how long. This is how long crimes are being committed and left unchecked. People, Yo,
I just remember the Gallus part. I remember that vividly. Gallus. You had enough of it, bro.
Yeah, I don't even get that fired up about it. No, I don't get that fired up about anything. I don't think, bro.
2023, bro. We were different.
Amen.
We had hope. We had hope in our eyes.
Yes. Anyway, not Josh Toffee, 199. Charlotte Flair, huh? She's a incredible woman. Incredible.
The Queen.
The Queen Charlotte Flair. 14 times, John. Dre Arness, $5. Appreciate you. Let Darby have a nice 3-month world title reign and then get destroyed by the Proto Star. Fuck it, man. Strap the rocket to him for 2026 and make a new star. Big fan of Fletcher, Joe.
I'm amazed by Kyle Fletcher. I can't even really wrap my head around what he's become, to be honest. Like, and I know a lot of our friends were very bullish on him when he was a young fellow with a cape. But I think even they would admit that this is something different. He's become he's one of the best heels in wrestling right now. It's unbelievable. He has polish and poise and confidence. He projects big. He really strives to be a star. He has little detail touches like a veteran wrestler. His offense still looks great. Because that was one of his strengths, right? His offense always popped. He always could do cool moves. But now he's got everything else, and him and Briscoe, what a great pairing. Yeah, I agree with the take. He should be world champion soon.
Funny, because AEW has, I've always thought that even coming into the company, I think a lot of people thought this as well. Obviously, Will Ospreay was going to be a hit, Mm-hmm. He's just kind of the perfect AEW babyface, especially now that Kenny Omega's 40 or however old he is, and he's gone through his injuries and his illnesses and stuff like that. He's not in his peak, he's not in his peak physical condition or anything like that. Will Ospreay's the perfect AEW babyface. He's always going to deliver. He can follow anything. His TV, even he caught a lot of people by surprise, how well he connected on TV. How well he was able to just seamlessly jump into doing promos, live promos and all that, and get his personality across and be likable, So he just kind of he has been the perfect babyface whenever, whatever he's been asked to do. I think this version of Cole Fletcher is very close to almost a perfect AEW heel,
I agree.
Because you said, he's super dynamic and his moves have pop and all this stuff, but he's also got the little detail touches and stuff like that. But he's added to his game as well now. And it's he can actually heal it up, but also keep his matches dynamic. His version of healing it up isn't making the matches boring and slowing it down and stuff like that, and trying to work up reactions that way. He's doing it in other ways that work perfectly for the AEW audience. So they're onto, basically what I'm saying is that they're onto something with them too.
No, I agree, and for all the talk, and we've both been some of the first people to say I think AEW traditionally has struggled with the wrestling push, actually pushing a professional wrestler in a conventional way. They have so many wrestlers. Kyle Fletcher is one where I remember he had a lot of matches where he had the kind of looked good in defeat. Yeah. And then at some point they actually committed. And I think that's a credit mostly, obviously good on credit for actually committing to a guy, but for me more it's about, I can't remember the last wrestler who, I guess Swerve would be a good example. Swerve's, an older guy too, who's been, to my mind, been around a lot more. Probably not fair, but that's the way I think of it. Kyle is, more than almost anyone I think of, has embraced that push. They said, we believe in Kyle Fletcher, and he said, I believe in Kyle Fletcher. The way he's invested in his look, and it's a real success story, seriously. I do think it's, I don't think it's gone understated. I think everyone agrees with it, but he's been great, man. One of the highlights for them, for sure.
the way that he's invested in his look and like the amount of effort that he now puts into his physique does pop me because he's so clearly very proud of it. You know, like I think it was before one of the pay-per-view matches. I think it was before the steel cage match, and you know, he was like shouting out his personal trainer. And like he did like this long post about his prep and like getting down and cutting and bulking.
Good for him.
And it's like now he's just like, bro, every picture he posts on social media is just like some like upward angle shot of him, just like
just jacked,
yeah. And well, even in like I think he might have been last night. Like there was a segment and like he weren't wrestling or nothing, but he's in the back, oiled up, just ready.
It's good shit, man. It's, everyone's different, but like with his frame, he has become a body guy. And that's pretty fucking awesome. It's like, it certainly helps, doesn't it? When it's a guy who they're trying to convince you is the top guy, it certainly helps when they get in the ring and they look like Kyle looks right now. That goes without saying, it does. So,
100%.
Good on him.
And as far as like I said, the dynamic heels, it's like you could I think you could throw like Takeshita into that, but I feel like Kyle's taken so much better to like the little detail things of being.
He's a better heel.
It's like Takeshita works as a heel because like his offense can look so fucking destructive.
Yes.
So he can just beat the shit out of a guy, make it look really cool, and it works, But I actually think his end game, will be as a babyface. Yeah. Yep. He's just too awesome, like he's just that guy,
I
bro.
Agree.
Like,
I agree. I actually think Takeshita's matches almost work in spite of the way that he's framed. I think he's so good, he overcomes the fact that he's putting layouts that don't really suit him. He's a babyface. I agree with you. I mean, that's got to be the money eventually, right? He breaks away and Fletcher and Takeshita. That sounds great. Takeshita's a babyface, so
that's well told, match, bro.
I agree. That would be if they were ever to do, I know that like Wrestle Dynasty wasn't really what I was imagining when they talked about like AEW run in Japan. But like an AEW show in Japan with Takeshita winning the world title over Kyle Fletcher would be pretty sweet. Imagine how much of a dick Kyle Fletcher would be in like Sumo Hall as a heel, It'd be sweet.
Yeah, man. They've got some special talent in that kind of, like late 20s, early 30s range, So fucking MJF, who's like a full-on established top star at this point. You don't even bring into these conversations now.
Dude, I love that syndicate angle. Like, I don't even know where it's going, and I don't want to. I want to just watch it play out. But watching Max interact with those characters has a weird novelty. There's something... there's a lot of wrestlers you've imagined MJF against. Bobby Lashley is one that I don't think anyone ever conceived the thought of that. And like, there they are next to each other, and it's strange.
I got an issue with it, though.
What's up?
You see, when MJF calls MVP Montel, it freaks me out. It freaks me out, bro.
I bet, yeah.
It freaks me out. I don't like it, bro. So, Max, if you ever see this, I might even message you some abuse telling you to stop saying it. Just cut it out.
He's done a lot of business with Joe and Montel on AEW TV, so it's, makes sense. But there's something... Tape said this in his review of Dynamite last week. He said... Bobby Lashley has this ability to like project pure hatred towards the AEW guys without saying anything. And it is so true. Like AEW guys will go face to face with Bobby and his demeanor is like, look at this pussy. Like he's Bobby's. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know where the fiction starts and ends on that. That may just be the way Bobby feels. I don't know. But Bobby has this this body language that's kind of underrated. He just carries himself like, as if this guy can fuck with me, right? It's so money. So that's good stuff.
That is Bobby though. I think he's like.
I think it's
kind of like it's more of a presence thing. Like, let's be real, bro. We love Bob Lash. We always have. You know what I mean? Don't matter where he's. TNA, WWE, Japan, AEW. We love Bob Lash. He's never been like a great talker. No. You know what I'm saying? Like he's never like dropping bars out there, super charismatic and energetic and stuff. But there is just he just has a certain presence about him that works.
He does. He's actually an example of why wrestling... It sounds hilarious. Bobby Lashley is not why wrestling's so interesting. But he is, because let's be honest. He's not a particularly good promo, you just said. And in his whole career, I think he's had a couple years where he was genuinely really, really good in the ring. Like, really, really good. In TNA especially, I thought he got to a point where he was really good. I don't know if I'm honest. If like I still think he's there in ring. To be completely frank, I don't really think he is. So what I'm describing to you as a wrestler, who I don't think is particularly good promo, and I think can be kind of clumsy in the ring. Yeah, if you put him in front of any wrestling crowd, they will chant Bobby and they will react to him like he's the biggest star on the show. That is why wrestling's interesting, right? Like, and by contrast, there are wrestlers who are really good promos and have good work in the ring who can't get the people to react the same way. Interesting. You know,
people just love the big man, bro.
They
it's
do.
There's a big respect thing as well, and it's just, you know.
He projects something, you know. Like he has like a... And the other thing that makes Bobby interesting is he's not like a... He's not someone who comes out to me and he's trying to convince you, like, look how much of a badass I am. He's just Bob, and he just walks around and you go, fuck, look at Bob. It's awesome, bro.
Clean cut, suited up.
Yeah.
He loves all that sort of stuff, bro. He's not trying to look bad. You know, he wants to look professional, bro. He's one of those guys, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out Bob Lash, bro. Shout out MJF.
Sure.
Shout out that whole MVP, Big Shelton.
Yeah.
Know.
Shelton is so funny, dude. just watching him just enjoy this run is so glorious. Like, just always grinning. It's awesome.
He's
awesome
killing it
stuff.
as well, man.
Yeah.
Asian PN $2. Mox is best for business. # business is booming. Apparently so, bro. Apparently so.
Let's go.
He also says Darby versus Mox will be cinema. # Conkers, Everest, and Mox. You know Excalibur's going to be dropping that as well, bro. So it's lock it in. I don't know, but I don't even know what to think of or how to predict or preview John Moxley matches anymore, bro, other than like what we were saying earlier about the finishes, where it's like they've got this hill that they need to somehow get over with the finishes now, because the fans are going to expect a certain thing, a certain amount of runnings before they can actually invest. Outside of that, bro, I don't know, because like when he first turned heel, I really enjoyed like the viciousness to his work, even if, and
Me
then
too.
obviously like the storyline started to fall apart, and I think his in-ring still kept to a good level, you know. There was like there was a viciousness to him, you know, and as the months have gone on and on, that's kind of like just, it's been a lot more watered down, it's faded out a bit more, his matches come a lot more like boring and long-winded, and obviously like I said, this new problem of like we're just waiting for those run-ins now. Because like, bro, I thought the Swerve match was going to be, regardless of if I said this as well, I think it might have been in like the Self-Made Discord or something, but like I said before the match, like regardless of what happens as the result, I think this will be a very good match. I thought the styles would mesh together, because I think you mentioned on Worldwide about like, obviously in hindsight now, no, do you know what I mean? But I thought the like Swerve's kind of like fluid, kind of like weird offense, and like Mox's like ruggedness and very matter-of-factness, if that's even a term, would mesh well. Spoiler, it didn't. It meshed really bad. And Mox's ideas for the match, who you would assume was laying out a majority of this match, were kind of all like conflated, and like it was just a mess. You know, then the finish, and it was just a mess. So I don't even know what to think of Mox's upcoming matches, bro, anymore.
That's a good, but it's an interesting topic in the sense that, like, if they believe the Moxley angle is working, if they believe that, hopefully they at least make like minor adjustments if they don't want to do the full pivot. And what I mean by that is, firstly, looking at the group, there's so much work that needs to be done in terms of adding depth to, like, who is Claudio in the depth? Like, what is Claudio's intention with the depth? You know what I'm saying? Like, what
Claudio and Pac are just out there.
They're just soldiers, isn't it? And I get that's probably what Moxley's thinking is, but Yuta is the character with the most depth, and that feels like a waste of Claudio to me. So even things like that, I think more consistency with the presentation. But I also think if Samoa Joe is the next match, which it probably still is, right? He gives you a chance to completely change the format. There is no reason for Samoa Joe and Moxley to be a 20-plus minute match with loads of run-ins. Do a tight match where they bleed a lot and Mox wins clean. Just let him win clean. Because here's the deal. It's Samoa Joe, dude. Like, 2 years ago, Wardlow choked Samoa Joe unconscious, and no one even cared or remembered it because it's Samoa Joe. Anyone can beat Samoa Joe because he's Joe. He comes back, everyone says Joe. It's fine. So he gives you a chance. This isn't Swerve. This isn't Ospreay who you have to worry about protecting. It's just Samoa Joe. You'll be fine. Do 12 minutes brawl, bleed, and completely shift the way people are thinking about these matches. He gives you a chance to do that. If you do that, and then you add depth to what Claudio's doing, and we must add, if you take advantage of Pac's unfortunate injury by injecting someone with some more oomph, or maybe energy, God forbid, you may be able to actually extend this organically. Because at this point, they seem committed to it. So my thing is, like, if you're committed to it, at least give it some help along the way. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you're going to do it right. So that's just a few, to me, just kind of few, like, quick things that I would suggest to
on the topic of Death Rider's depth. It's funny because Wheeler Yuta came into the group with kind of like there was some depth to his decision making in becoming a Death Rider, you know, like the whole like Bryan Danielson tie-in, will he, won't he, etc, 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 you know, like there was something to it. There was a story leading to him being in the Death Riders and why he's there. And even now it's like, I think part of the reason why he has so much heat with the AEW audience is because it's like, you know, he's putting on like this front. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we know that's not Wheeler. He's this little punk, like, little piece of shit now. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, he's healing it up. He's part of the top heel groups. Obviously, there's the heat that comes with that as well. And as you've just pointed out, these other guys just don't have anything. There's nothing really to them. Do you know what I mean? And as you said, they're probably meant to be positioned as soldiers, but
it's Claudio.
You know, like, I don't know. Maybe like one of them has second thoughts. You know, like kind
something.
Of, you know, like you're already in like the Bloodline fucking territory now. You're already there, bro. So it's like, we're going to talk about kind of, you know what I mean, in similar ways. It's like, when you add the Bloodline, it's like, the Jay stuff was the anchor of that fucking whole storyline, bro. You know what I mean? It's like, then the Sammy stuff, Rare to tell, like, yeah, it was Roman Reigns' storyline at the end of the day. That's how the history books will tell it. But like I just said, Jey Uso throughout basically the whole reign, until like that last Cody chapter, Jay was the real anchor of that like whole fucking thing, bro. You know, just like you know, him being conflicted, him, you know, people trying to make him snap out of it, people getting close to like breaking through to him. Obviously Roman being super manipulative towards him and all these different things, you know. And obviously now, like, all that depth and all that, you know, all that time and focus that they've put into Jay, look what he's about to do at WrestleMania, regardless of how, like, some people may feel about it. But it's like, it's been quite natural. It's been quite a natural progression, to be honest. It's not like they've just forced him down people's throats. The people love him, bro. The people love him. They're connected with him because he's got that connection with people over the past 5 years because of, you know, the way that they've done this. And obviously that's just call it a side plot, the underlying main plot or whatever, but it's just like these guys don't have any. Even like Marina, bro, she just kind of comes out, mean mugs people.
Yeah,
it's just like
but at least, like, Marina, to me, if the idea of her is she's a soldier, that's different to me, because with respect and love, Marina had no TV presence before this, so it's like, whatever.
Oh yeah,
how long has Claudio been on our television? So fucking 15 years on national major television. Like, people remember, and I think there's also a weird thing where people forget how popular Claudio's been at different points. How great Claudio's. Whatever happens from this point forward, Claudio's one of the best TV workers, like, I think, ever. He's an incredible wrestler. Is he as good now as then? No, but I still think he's very good. I just think there's stuff to be done there to make him more interesting. What if you do a thing where Claudio believed in Moxley's original message, but is now starting to question what his actual intention was? I mean, you know, something like that. Yeah, just a small thing to just add a little bit of depth to it. Because, look, I'm not here to, you know, yell and scream about the Death Riders thing. I mean, if they think it's working, then it's working. I don't particularly enjoy it. But I do think there's things that you could still do to make it stronger if you are going to go with it. And this Claudio, to me, feels like an obvious, because I don't think Claudio's ever been less interesting, frankly. I mean, he's just a blank slate right now. It's a shame.
Yeah, literally, bro. Literally.
Yeah.
He had more depth when he was in the bar, bro.
Right. It's just, it's a shame.
Amari 316, $5. Appreciate you as always. I'm glad that I didn't get too invested in the outcome of Swerve versus Mox, because I just knew through my instincts that Mox was retaining. Yeah, man, I don't even think like Swerve wasn't even. It's not like even like Swerve was a favorite, bro. I think it was just more just like there was so much hope, you know.
Yeah,
I don't think he was like an insane underdog or anything like that. I don't think fans were being unrealistic wanting and expecting him to win, but at the same time, I don't think it's really like a stunning shock result that he didn't win either, because
Probably true, yeah.
you know, he's what he is. And I predicted him to win on the prediction show, so I'm not trying to be like, oh, I told you so. Like, obviously not, but it's just like he didn't like stun me. The way they did it did.
That stunned me. Yeah.
But yo, Mario $362. Max vs. World was child's play to me, honestly. I mean, no man. It's broke some people. Some people have just kind of shrugged the shoulders at it. Some people were just kind of like, that was bad. You know? Some people liked it, bro. A lot of people liked it, you know? So, well, I don't know if they like that finish exactly, but, you know, just in general, like the Death Rider stuff.
There are definitely people into it. Definitely, yeah.
100%, absolutely. Bro. 100%. Yeah. The final boss 199. I hope Seth's just there to take the pin. Beast. I don't know, man. You can tell that they're trying to make it like he's not just there to eat a pin. Like, you know, they are trying to like write him into the story. Do you know what I mean? And make it like a real thing. And that might be one of the problems with the story, the way that they're trying to like tie these three things together. Then you've got the Heyman aspect of it as well. So it becomes this kind of like, you know, and it's like the WrestleMania main event is like its own title, you know, and it's just like, it's, you know, it just became one of them. But they're definitely not, I think they're definitely trying to position him like he's not just some pin eater there, you know.
He should probably win, dude. That's it. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I'm like super invested in the conflict, but looking at the pieces involved, it'd probably be the most interesting thing to do an angle where he wins, right? I'm not saying he's going to. You know, I think he's not going to. But
if we're just straight up like, I guess like fantasy booking and not like thinking about like what we realistically think will happen, I think the absolute best thing they can do is Heyman fucking over Roman and Punk winning, and Punk and Heyman going out together
as heels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Punk will go for a heel turn?
He better. That's like I think that's like my big thing that I'm waiting for in WWE. I think at the minute, he's like Punk to flick that switch, bro, or Randy.
I don't think Randy. I think you'll get. I don't think Punk's turning.
Yeah, Randy will definitely.
Oh, you can't wait. Definitely. Well, I think Punk's going to want to work with. I think he's going to want to work with Cena. Yeah, with the roles reversed.
I hear that. Like I said, like without being realistic or any of that, you know. I think that's probably like the most like interesting thing they can do. Probably the least interesting thing can do is the thing that we probably think is going to happen is Roman just beating on one up piece. I think
it's funny though. Very funny.
Yeah. Shout out Randy, bro. Alright, the final boss 199, Dusty's son, Mama Rhodes. Next week it's over. # Rolex. Oh, not the Rolex. The fucking
this
Rolex.
Is incredible commitment to a bit. Like, just still like watching this through the lens of Dwayne's, you know, rage at Cody and Mama Rhodes is incredible. Imagine even remembering at this point.
It's good shit though, man. Cinema,
yeah, I guess.
I think they call it, bro. Jacob Donnelly, $5. Appreciate his way. Tony Khan saying, and quote, "These marks just want their flippy flop bullshit." Would be hilarious on so many levels. So I'm saying, bro, you people, you animals on the IWC, you've broken him, bro. You've broken him.
It's a rite of passage. He's like 6 years now. It's overdue. He lasted longer than most. You scroll the time, you go, look at this fucking Holbert guy here on. So look at these idiots. You know? You hire a guy who presents rating statistics. It's just what you do.
Sees he Boo's long tweets and he just replies to it like, not reading that.
Bro, I bet Tony's burner is crazy right now. You know? Profile pic is like the Death Riders logo.
Nah, he don't tweet. He don't tweet on a burner, bro. Too paranoid.
There's like 10 people on it. Jimmy Jacobs is one of them.
Adam Legend, $5. Last night was one of the most electric crowds I've been in, especially considering Dynasty's end. Sure felt like a 9 out of 10 in person. TK is forgiven. I'm glad you enjoyed it, brother.
Yeah, I saw Adam commented that under our Grin video. It popped me. Like, Adam's live perspective was the complete opposite of what we thought at home. Wrestling's weird that way, right?
Oh, yeah, wrestling's a funny game, bro. Vernacular 199, Triple H and TK, quote, "We're getting fired anyway, Ernie, fuck it."
I am big on this new trend of like, do they both suck? I'm big on this. This is what I needed in my life. Let's rock with this.
That's what happens when you put these bookers on pedestals, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like I
course.
feel like I can speak for both of us. I feel like neither of us have ever been like, even when they've been having good runs, we've always been like, at the end of the day, like the decent bookers, like Triple H is okay. You know what I mean? It's just that like it's such an improvement from Vince's. He was like a -10 out of 10. Do you know what I mean? So when you go from -10 to like a 6, you know, that's huge, bro. That's huge. Then Tony Khan, you know, he was also I'd probably rate him at about 6.5.
He's more like erratic because Tony will go like Triple H will be a 6, Tony will be an 8 one week and then a 4 the next, and then like a 7, a 3. He's all over the place. But I'm a big believer in this. Like, your default setting as a fan should always assume they have no idea what they're doing. It's just better that way. Once you start doing the thing where you respond to like critiques with, I'm sure there's a plan. It's not. These are wrestling people. They haven't got a plan. They don't know what to do.
No, for real though. For real. Ryan, $2.79 Canadian. Sol Ruka double champ by April 12. Speed / North American title.
Oh.
It doesn't sound that crazy unrealistic, but I don't think they will do it. But we'll see.
Wow. The big two, Speed and North American, brother.
Super Chatter's name I'll never say. $2. Appreciate you as always. Do you guys believe Bianca is turning? I don't know. What are you thinking, Joe?
It feels like she might have to, unfortunately. I mean,
But
I guess
do you
this
think
is
it's
why
a bad
you.
thing?
It's not like I just think there's more to be done with Bianca as like an ace, and I do feel like the last year kind of subtracted from that time somewhat. But like this is why you probably traditionally don't book like triple threat babyface feuds. I guess.
Well,
you kind of inevitably play with this fire.
we got 2 of them.
It seems to me like my guess was that Bianca was going to win as a babyface. I'm increasingly of the belief that Bianca is going to win as a heel, and then like they'll do stuff with Jade and maybe Rhea as a babyface, Jade and Bianca as a heel. Maybe like I think she'll be a heel.
Go Birds, 4.99. Appreciate it as always. What is your favorite WrestleMania stage? I'm really bad with like dates and stuff, to be honest. So I can't even think visually. WrestleMania.
This is tough for me because like my favorite WrestleMania visuals are the ones where there's not a stage and it's just like the walkway, you know, the old ones.
Those MSG.
Dude, the Hoosier Dome one in '92 is unbelievable. It's just the whole stadium and they have the aisle. I'd say in terms of stages, the one that the Hardys returned at in Florida, WrestleMania 33, I believe. Remember the big elevated ramp? That was an incredible look. WrestleMania 19 looked very sick too. That'd be the ones that come to mind.
The last, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. I think with the stages as well, like it's like they want to like wow you as well with some of it. It's like what year was it when they did like the huge pirate ship? Like that was
the year after the pandemic, right? 21.
That was huge, you know. So like they go for those sort of things, and it's just kind of like it's cool, and it makes it feel like it's all part of the pomp and circumstance, you know. But it's, you know, I'm very much with Joe. Like I like a big, almost like even though it's in a stadium, like big but like intimate walkway, you know.
It's just magic, dude. Seeing the wrestler from, I will say the shot of Austin at WrestleMania 19, you know, when he's walking to the Rock match and they have that shot from behind, and it pans the whole stadium, and it's like, what an amazing shot. Because that basically this is like what Steve Austin has built, you know? It's an amazing shot. Some people in the chat were showing love to WrestleMania 39, which had the whole Hollywood vibe, which was awesome. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're one of the coolest WrestleManias ever in terms of just like the way it felt, and they had the movie posters. That was sick.
Yeah, man. WWE know how to dress up an event, bro.
For sure.
The final boss, 199. Monty be excited, boy. Travis is coming. #TikTok. Yeah, there was. I think Dave. I think it was in the newsletter last week. Was like, Travis Scott is currently scheduled to be part of WrestleMania. So
It's
you
just
know,
funny. Dave in the newsletter said Travis Scott. It's like, what did he say? Yeah, that's fair.
but yeah, man. All right, let's a couple of things on Dynamite I want to talk about, bro. Because as I briefly mentioned earlier, that opening 30 minutes was fucking mad. It was one of those things that I was watching. I wasn't sure, like, is this like actually unfolding in the way? Like, have I looked down at my phone and missed some pieces that make this make a bit more sense? And isn't like, is this going on right now? So it starts off with John Moxley cuts like a promo and he does like his usual shtick of just kind of like, for lack of a better term, he's just out there waffling, in a video package. And then we go straight into the first match of the night, which is John Moxley versus Katsuyori Shibata. Yeah. And I'm thinking, they're going to have like a competitive match. Moxley's going to bulldog choke him. And, there might be a little distraction, a little heat finish or something. But Shibata's going to get a chance to look good out there. And Mox's going to have like a good match to open the show. Like, I'm thinking all these things, bro. Mox basically squashed this guy, bro. What is it? Katsuyori Shibata getting squashed out there. Basically. No, I didn't even need the bulldog choke. Just a little thumb to the eye, So Mox deals with Shibata within like a few minutes. Like they barely had a match that's like worth going to watch as like if you were looking for a real match, you know what I'm saying? Like nothing happened. So Mox just beats Shibata like rapid. And after the match, the Young Bucks come out. It's like, okay, we're going to get some sort of like explanation now. They're going to come out. They're going to interact with Mox or attempt to interact with Mox. What's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. So Mox gets out of there. The Bucks come down. They start cutting a promo. And the gist of their promo is basically like they start just kind of like sucking up to John Moxley. Like, Moxley's got the same vision as us.
Mm-hmm.
We wanna uplift the company as well. It's a shame he's not here, so we can say it to his face. And basically, the real reason why they did what they did to Swerve Strickland at Dynasty, screwed him out of the AEW World Title, was because they wanted to do it for Hangman Adam Page. They wanted Hangman Adam Page to stick to his word of saying Swerve will never be world champion again. And they did that for you. And don't forget who your friends are. We love you, Hangman. We know you love us too. And yeah, that's the reason they're giving us, Joe. So
here's the thing with it. And this is where it can be hard to like analyze this stuff. So the idea is they really want to just be with Moxley because they don't want to fight. They don't want to fight the Death Riders, right?
Wait, they said it. Yeah, they said it was a peace offering.
Right, exactly. So their way of explaining themselves is we did it for Hangman, which we all know. Obviously, they're heels. They're full of shit, which is fine. The issue isn't actually the logic so much as like I don't want to see these people interact anymore. That's not my honest thing. And when Omega's music here, I was kind of like, I don't know. And I get they set it up. So again, I understand it. But I just don't care to see any more of this business. I don't know.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, the logic is the logic. It's just, I don't care about this.
So, speaking of that,
yeah,
like I said, they were kind of dressing it up as like this was a peace offering, and they started going like I think it was Matt was talking about like, could you imagine the Death Riders and the Elite? It's like we wanted to change the world, but Moxley he took it one step further and he's got the AEW World Title and everything. I'd love it if John Moxley could come out right now so we can talk about business. Instead of Moxley coming out, boom, Kenny Omega comes out, and obviously people pop for that. It's Kenny Omega, bro. But again,
this is when it actually got really bad, bro. If we're being real, I love Kenny Omega, but yeah, this is when it got go for it one day.
Kenny Omega comes out, and he's just basically like, so you're saying you did all this for your friends, like Moxley, Hangman, of course you do, but you forgot to do anything for me because the last time that you seen me, he was pushing me off a stretcher at the peak of my diverticulitis diagnosis as I was being put into an ambulance. But you know what? When I came back, I actually forgave you guys. I let it go because we're trying to bring back the feeling. He literally said bring back the feeling as well in AEW. Joe just rolled his eyes. I think a lot of people did as well. And then he was like, "Yo, while I was gone." And this is where I think it just went insane. He's like,
this is when it got really
while
bad,
I was gone, you two guys. He went into like this. I'm not gonna quote it word for word because I can't remember, Brian. I don't want to, but he started going into this story about how he reminds him of these two Shih Tzu dogs who leave huge dookies in the middle of the middle in the middle of the room, and it festered, and I don't know, something about dookie piling up and how Kenny Omega had to come back, and the crowd jumped onto this and started a dookie chant. I thought I was watching 2019 Raw, bro. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, this is when it actually got like really bad. Really, really bad.
So Kenny's out there talking about dookie and Shih Tzus and all these things, and then he starts going off, and then he starts going deeper with it being like, oh, these guys like to flaunt their money and buy all these things. And did you see how they were ripping up all those receipts when they were leaving? When we last saw them in AEW, they were ripping up receipts for their cook chair in the hotel room, and he was like, wait, who's writing this material, bro? This
Ironically, it was dog shit. Ironically, is what it was. It was absolute dog shit. It was really bad, dude. And again, we all love Kenny Omega, but this was not his finest hour. He'd rather be anywhere else in the world than delivering this promo.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he's delivering these weird, these sassy lines.
Yeah,
these childish lines, bro. Like I said, bro.
So prelim, man. It was so prelim. Like, you just closed the paint with this big heat surprise. Like, the Bucks shocked the world, and they did this unthinkable. And this was like prelim comedy shit. It was a shame.
Felt like it went on for so long as well, bro.
Yeah.
And then basically, like, after he does this stand-up routine, he's like, you know what? Actually, fuck it, let's fight. And then he goes to go to the ring, and then Okada comes out, and then after Okada comes out, Swerve comes out with like a chair and that, so everyone bails. Swerve gets on the mic, and he's just like, "Yo, it's book hunting season," and he's about to cut like a fired up babyface promo. He's attacked from behind, and then that starts back. That when we go to a break, and he's attacked behind by Pac, who he's about to wrestle in the second match of the night. Pac and Swerve are like halfway through their match, and basically Pac fucking fucks his ankle, really unfortunate.
That sucked, dude.
So
yeah.
we get that, like, we get kind of like the horse shit that like was intentional. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then we get like this
luck.
then we get like this bad luck, unfortunate accident as well, which just like makes, like I said, the first 30 minutes of this show, like these first 30 minutes that I've just described, the mock squash, the Bucks explanation, Kenny's dookie promo, and then this unfortunate happening between Pac and Swerve. This was fucking crazy, bro. This was crazy.
Pac getting injured was a big, like, when it rains it pours moment. When it was like, fuck, man. Just like, because look, whatever you think of Pac's current work, him and Swerve would have sleepwalked to like an exciting finishing run, wouldn't they? They'd have done some cool stuff, and like it would have just steadied the ship. And him getting hurt, obviously beyond the obvious, if he's hurt. The show was really like kind of sputtering along, and it did. I'll say this for it: it definitely like got considerably better after that. Unfortunately, that was the first half an hour, and I think a lot of people were kind of their dismay was confirmed in the first half an hour of the show. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there was good stuff after that, but I think that people were going in like kind of unsure, and that made them a lot more sure of how they felt. It's a shame.
So yeah, that was the, like I mentioned earlier, the insane first like 30 minutes of Dynamite, which I couldn't get my head around, bro. Like, I couldn't get my head around this was actually happening. Like I said, I thought I missed something. I thought I missed some connective tissue. It was just to excuse why I was seeing these things on my television, But I expect better from AEW, bro. And like I said, I'm not someone who has these unrealistic expectations that thinks Tony Khan's the greatest booker of all time and all this, but And obviously the pack injury is nothing, like nobody's fault, but this was again coming out of Dynasty and how the how big chunk of the fan base was. Won't say all the fan base, but a big chunk of the fan base. There was a lot of people very loud and upset about how that went down, and like I said, kind of hoping that Dynamite was going to be this bounce back, this glimmer of hope or something, and that opening 30 minutes was just like nope.
Yeah, it wasn't the best vibes. It was not the best vibes at all.
Felt intentional, bro.
I think some of it was like crazy unforced errors, like the content of the Kenny and Buck stuff, the Kenny part specifically. Because I don't know whose idea that was. You could have approached that. Imagine instead he comes out and he's like yelling about wanting to beat the fuck out of these two guys. Would have made more sense, wouldn't it? Like, I mean,
100%.
Yeah, that was
bro.
strange. Very strange. I thought that was by far the worst part.
Yeah. I hate those unforced errors more than anything though, because it's like I hate when there's a segment that's like bad in that way, where it's like, bro, I could go on the Wrestle Purist account now, pick a random follower, and I could have booked a better angle than that. Do you know what I mean? I hate when it's that kind of bad, where it's like literally you could have done the most basic thing following this instead of this, and it would have been a lot more palatable than what you fucking did. Because like, it's one of those like who writes this shit moments, you know?
Yeah, you want to be careful with the Omega and Okada is always going to be a big deal to your audience, but like you're in the early stages of building that, and so like, you don't want to be doing silly shit like right. You know what I mean? Like you want to kind of preserve that, and yeah, that was the true unforced error. The rest of it is like more of a direction thing of how you feel about Swerve and Hangman versus the Bucks, which is clearly the destination. I think everyone agrees the match will be really good. It's a matter of whether you want to see the match or not. I think is where people are kind of split. I think some people are, some people don't want to see it. I lean the latter. I just think there's just better things for. And look, the Young Bucks are an all-time great team, but I just think Hanger and Swerve at this point have got to have bigger fish to fry than having a tag match with the Young Bucks. I really do. And
I agree.
So yeah, and again, that doesn't mean that when the bell rings, the match will start. The match will be awesome. 100%, I believe that. But I think there's bigger stuff for those two guys to be doing. They're two of the top guys in the promotion, But even what I will say as a positive is, if you're really into the Hangman character, at least there was like a development for him as a character with the Nana thing, right? And there was a little bit there to kind of sink your teeth into. It wasn't like Hangman was discarded. Now, if you're a big Hangman fan, I do think your confidence in them ever paying that off is probably waning at this point, because it does feel like every time he gets to the finish line, they kind of pull him back again and he starts. So I get that, but at least his segment was interesting. One of the positives on Dynamite I thought was the Hangman Prince Nana segment. So
yeah, I was about to have a good jump straight to that really, because obviously we're not going to do a full on review, but since it's topical. Hangman, he storms through the, the AEW backstage, heading to Swerve's locker room, and as soon as you see Swerve's locker room, you kind of like, your ears perk up a little bit, because there's just still just that natural interest there, Bursts into Swerve's locker room. Swerve's not there, it's Prince Nana, and he was just basically, he tried to make it very clear, got in Prince Nana's face, was that like, yo, when you see him, tell him that what I did on the weekend, I was not trying to help him, okay? Make sure that is clear with him. And then as he's about to turn around and walk away, Nana's like, yo, wait a sec. I just want to say everything that happened over the past year or so. And it sounds like he's about to apologize, or show some sign of like guilt or whatever. Hangman cuts him off and he's basically like, yo, don't say another word. Shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah, there was a line. What was the line he has? Like, you don't get. He said there was something he said, someone in the chat will know it, but he said something to the effect that to me suggested like you're not in a position to apologise to me for something like that. That's not your right to apologise to me for something that severe. That was really well done. Prince Nana is so great. What he is, the role he has played in Swerve's, elevation to top star, you can't overstate it, dude. Like, he's been amazing, and he has way more depth than I think people realise. And this was an example. He got to actually, show a little bit of that. Really good segment. It was very, very well. Okay, I think in the chat says it was literally you don't get to do that. That was the comment. it was really well done. It was a good segment, very good segment.
Yeah, man, as you said about Nana, getting to show a little bit more of his depth and stuff, and Nana's been like a little bit of a theme recently, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, there's the whole thing with the robe,
Mm-hmm.
like that's deep shit, bro, and they did their best to try and do it justice and try and get the importance of it across, and I think they did it well. Then there's been like, even just like the segment with the robe where he had that moment with Swerve, like, yo, bro, you gotta get that robe back, otherwise I don't know if I can do this anymore. That was a great segment. And then even just this little 30 seconds with Hangman, he can do it, man. And he's been around long enough to know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he might not have been on WWE TV for the past 20 years, but he's been in the trenches, bro.
Oh yeah, for
Big
sure.
Prince Nana, you get me? So it's we've said it a few times on this channel over the past couple of years, bro. But it is really cool to see like Prince Nana's like in a cool spot in wrestling.
Awesome.
He was on the first ROH show, bro. Like, man's remember these things,
Mm-hmm.
So
No, it's awesome. And, in a weird way, for all of the shtick and all the silliness that Nana can sometimes involve himself in, he kind of like brings a human element to the Swerve presentation. Because Swerve is someone who projects... Swerve, he's this kind of larger-than-life figure. He has the cool presentation, right? But I think Nana kind of grounds him in a way, which is really fun. So, yeah, I'm with you. He's one of the best stories in this last couple of years, for sure.
yeah, man, good shit. There's not that many other things on Dynamite I really want to get into, but one of them is definitely the Hurt Syndicate. I guess it was meant to be like a celebration, they come out, successful total defense, they're coming out in the suits, they're very proud of themselves and that. And obviously who comes out? MJF comes out, interrupts them, and he's just like, hey man, you forgot about me? He's just like, we did great on the weekend, right guys, and he's like, now that I'm with the Hurt Syndicate, I'm happy to help you guys out because we're gonna be focusing on me getting my title back, and I'm gonna skip the queue now because I'm in the Hurt Syndicate, and that's what we do, and we're gonna get me back my Triple B, baby. At one point he was like, listen, yeah, on Sunday, if it wasn't for me, woof. He's like, bro, come on, man.
Yeah.
So MJF's getting his shtick, he's getting his shit off. Bobby Lashley's just cut the shit, bro. I think at one point, he literally says like, yo, shut up, shut your mouth. He's like, we all saw what you did on the weekend. I didn't see it at the time. All I saw was a guy on the floor, and when I got him back in the ring, he was still standing, so you clearly didn't do your job, and I had to cut him in half again, and I got the win. So Bob Lash was not trying to give MJF any credit for any help that he gave him on Sunday. And Bob Lash is just sick of this guy, bro. He's sick of this guy. He's sick of this guy from Long Island, he's sick of him. And, it basically comes to a head, the arguing, right, at MVP is just like, listen, this is what it's coming down to. We go way back, Max. I go way back with these guys. He's like, you ain't getting in no Hurt Syndicate unless you get 3 thumbs up. MVP throws his thumb up. No, that isn't actually. Bobby Lashley's like, you know what my answer is, and he's just like, he's not even trying to play. Everyone knows Bob Lash, thumbs down. MVP, thumb up. He's happy to have MJF in the Hurt Syndicate. And Shelton Benjamin just pops himself now. He's just kind of.
Thinks he's funny, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of doing the whole like, nah, And MJF is not in the Hurt Syndicate. He has not got the blessing. He has not got the 3 thumbs up, and he was quite irritated about it. And yeah, man, MVP were just like, hey, bro, I can't do nothing for you,
Yeah.
So where you think this is going then, Joe?
I have no idea. That's probably my favourite thing about it. I have no clue what the match is. Like, because I thought they were turning the Syndicate babyface, but then they worked heel against like Brian Keith and Big Bill, so I have no clue what the match is or where they're going. And I say as a positive, as long as they know where they're going, that's all that matters, right? So, there's some really cute stuff in here, like that line MVP had where he goes, they know exactly who you are, that's the problem. Like, that's so good, because from the audience point of view, it's like, dude, Max has been an awful person on this show for 6 years. Why would you possibly want him in your team? And the whole point that Bobby's making is, this guy cannot be trusted. Look at his track record. So that's good, and MVP and Max have a chemistry on screen. To be fair, I think MVP has chemistry on screen with almost everyone because he's so good in those segments.
He does.
He comes across like a real person. And there was that line, I think this is what he was referring to. I apologize if I'm wrong, but when Max walks in and he like berates Alicia, and then he goes to MVP, he goes, Montel, I'm sorry you had to see that. Which was tremendous because he saw, again, if that's what he was referring to, I think it was, he suggested like it was like a back and forth argument and it wasn't just him being a complete prick. Like, I'm sorry you had to see that terrible verbal war we just had.
Bro? Like, I had to put, I can't believe you had to see me go to that place,
Yeah. He just walked in and was horrible to her, like, for no reason.
Speaking of horrible for no reason, the Learning Tree segment. So obviously, Jericho lost his ROH world title at the Pape. Big Bill and Brian Keith failed to win the tag titles at the Pape. Jericho's not happy. He comes out all by himself. And he's talking about, he's just not very happy, is he, Joe?
No,
weren't
the only one.
He's not very he's not very happy. He calls out his guys, Big Bill and Brian Keith, and he's like, I was hoping all three of us would have titles tonight, blah, blah, blah. And you can tell he's about to go in on these guys. And Big Bill cuts him off and he's like, listen, bro, if you've just brought me out here just to, like, tear us down and, embarrass us and all this stuff, like, just dead it. Like, I ain't trying to hear it. I'm getting out of here. And he ain't trying to hear it either, And Jericho is just... Is that how you really feel, Brian? Is that how you really feel? Is that how you really feel, Bad Apple? And then Jericho is like, no, I'm not gonna come out here and get angry at you or embarrass you. He's like, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. And he's like, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. And he's like smashing up the fucking TV setup that they got in the ring, and he's swinging the bat around, and he's just fucking complete. The idea is that he has a complete fucking meltdown, crash out.
Yeah.
He's completely fucking lost it. Like this past weekend, the Dynasty has just completely broke him. And he said he's gonna go away. He said he's gonna go away. So we'll see. Apparently Fozzie's touring, Joe. So I think he's actually going. I think he's actually going away for a hot minute. So
dude, just get
we'll
ready. Get ready. You're the newsman here. Just get ready.
Oh fuck.
This time away is going to result in some of the most heinous like work shoot stuff ever, bro. I bet any money he's going to like leak stuff about he's going to WWE. He's going to leak stuff. He'll show up in like New Japan for some reason. Like, I'm telling you, he's going to do everything in his power.
Gonna wrestle shelter room,
I'm telling you, dude. Because the last few weeks he's been doing those interviews where he does like the sort of brother, like maybe I could go back, He's going to work it into his angle because of course he is. That's like the most Chris Jericho thing ever. So prepare yourselves. Segment.
Follow Recipe for more.
Yeah, stay tuned. Jericho's delivery when he told Brian Keith that he was a future world champion was... I saw through it. I saw Chris stammer a little bit when he said it. Brian Keith's a hell of a wrestler. But I know Chris went, you two a few... And he kind of looked at Brian Keith and it struggled a little bit. But, I mean...
Brian Keith is Brian Danielson's son's... I think his name's Buddy. That's Brian Danielson's son, isn't it, Buddy? I think his name's Buddy.
Sure. I think so, yeah.
Brian Keith is his favourite wrestler.
Really? That's cool.
Apparently he gets really fired up for the Bad Apple.
Fucking
and this pops Brian very much. So.
Brian Keith's awesome, dude. He's awesome.
Yeah, I interviewed him.
You did, yeah.
He's cool. He's
awesome.
cool as fuck, bro.
I'm glad he's doing good. And I actually like him and Bill as a team. Yeah, definitely a good wrestler. Yeah, I don't know. I just... My question with all the Jericho stuff is, is the juice worth the squeeze, it's just... It's not even so much about how good or bad it is. 'Cause I didn't think this was even, terrible so much. It's just, do I, really want to see it, I guess that's my genuine thing with Jericho.
Now, so...
Yeah, was Bandito on the show?
He's got
was he on the show last night, wasn't he? Was Bandito on the show last night?
It's not Ring of Honor, Joe.
No, I forgot. Every time Chris puts a guy over, they're not on TV, and he is. It happens every time. And again, I know he's leaving now, so I get it. But there is a trend to that. Jericho will lose, and then there's a plan for Jericho, and there's not a plan for the guys.
So what do you think they do? Like, you think Big Bill and Bad Apple like just win a string of matches, and then Jericho comes back, and they just start losing again, you know? And then this leads to something that we're all apparently supposed to care about, and, you know. And I like Big Bill and Brian Keith, as we've just said, but it's just you know, it's.
I guess they would. I'm going to try to answer this because I appreciate that you think enough of me that you thought I'd have an answer, so I'm going to try it. I guess they should be baby faces now.
Yeah, they gotta be. People really like Big Bill and Brian Keith.
That's what you should do.
He's got his quirkiness has gotten over. So
you should do a thing where like they become a babyface kind of odd couple, you know, good cop, bad cop tag team, maybe even, you know, like a buddy cop gimmick. Not like a literal gimmick where they have guns and badges and stuff, but you know, like that kind of dynamic.
Yeah, and like Big Bill's like the nice one. He's a good cop.
Yeah.
Could you imagine what our promotion would be?
That'd be absolute shit. Just absolute shit.
Well, imagine us sitting around trying to put like one of those like backstage segments together. You know, like they interrogate like Daniel Garcia or some shit.
Yeah, I would try and get them over as baby faces because people already like Big Bill. So you do that, and then eventually Jericho comes back, and it's like, oh shit, Dad's home, you know.
Yeah.
And they just beat the fuck out of him.
Oh, that would be glorious. That's not gonna happen.
No.
Comes with Judas effect.
Yeah.
Judas effect, yeah, where he does that thing where he hits it and collapses on top of you.
Oh,
you know
best.
what I'm saying? That's the Jericho it comes with bulldog choke, you know. Like that is.
It's a fair question, bro, because it's like, what is the match we're supposed to be anticipating here? Like, are we supposed to be chomping at the bit for Big Bill versus Chris Jericho? I guess that's what we're supposed to be looking forward to.
The way it's built is like it's built into an angle, but not a match. Do you know what I mean? Like it's built into like just Big Bill and Brian Keith kicking the shit out of Jericho one day.
They're totally gonna do. Someone remind me of this when it happens. They're gonna do like Jericho versus Bill, and Brian Keith will be in the middle, and he'll absolutely turn on Big Bill. I bet any money, and it'll be like, you know, and then Jericho will get a new Redwood, and it will be like, who could be Redwood? Gallows.
There's another way, bro. There's another way they'll drag fucking man's like Gallows into this, like you know, like Jericho will get dumped, and he'll bring in like Jack Perry. You know, Jericho and Jack Perry just causing havoc on the AEW roster, bro. But
the new learning tree, it'll be Bad Apple Vincent and the Redwood Billy, you know, Bobby Dutch and Vincent. That's what it'll be. I can see this. I know where he's headed.
But yeah, man. And obviously you said your little piece on the main event earlier, so there ain't really anything too much else. They said Edge is out indefinitely because, you know, FTR killed him. That popped me. Yeah. And obviously the babyface won the $400K match. Statlander defeated Thunder Rosa in the Owen tournament.
She's so awesome, dude.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Statlander is just like one of the best wrestlers on TV. She's so fucking good. Awesome.
She's an underrated. What's the word I'm looking for?
Beast.
Well, yeah, but like in ways that doesn't really get spoken like it, because I think with Statlander, especially with her offense and even like her look and stuff, like everything's very striking and it's very obvious that she's fucking great. You know, like just look at her moveset and stuff. But I don't think she quite gets enough credit for like helping lesser talents, is what we'll call them, for lack of a better term.
Yes.
For like. I don't want to say like generally guiding the match, because I don't think it's the same as the way that like a Mercedes or someone else does it, or like I'm not even gonna name her, but you know who I'm thinking of. I don't know, Joe. Whatever it is I'm thinking of, she doesn't get enough credit for it.
The reason is because she doesn't guide the matches the same way. Her stuff is just so aggressively awesome that her matches have like a very respectable flaw. Like, look, I said this elsewhere. Unnecessary, by the way. I said this elsewhere. With love and respect to Julia Hart. The more I watch Julia Hart wrestle, the more impressive the match with Stat becomes. Like, dude, they had like a legit good match. And I think Julia Hart will be good eventually, you know? I don't think she's there yet, which is fine. She's like 22 years old. But
yeah.
They had a match in 2023 that was like an actual good wrestling match. I think Stat is just so awesome that you can't help but have good matches with her. She's just, the way she bumps, her offense is so explosive. She's so valuable, man. I think she's just tremendous.
She's got to be winning that world title this year, I think.
I'd like to see that very, very much, yes.
Go Birds 199. Joe, what match are you most and least excited for at WrestleMania?
It's like giving me algebra. At WrestleMania. Most excited pretty easily, to be honest, is Jay and Gunther. Least excited. Oh dear, some options here and there. Least excited. So I will say for that IC title match, Ron in a fort, he'll probably do some cool shit in that match, won't he?
What about Raiders New Day?
Yeah, I can't. I'm sorry.
No stiff. It's just...
Bro, yeah. That, and also, I hate to say it, well, I don't hate to say it, I don't really care. Damien and Drew, like...
Yeah, I think that might be mine, you know, I swear to God.
It's just so dry, isn't it? It's like, it'll be good, but...
But that's when I go downstairs and like reheat some wings or
yeah,
shit, you know, like that's
yeah, man.
Pretend I'm watching it whilst I'm still live tweeting spots on the Wrestleperiod's account.
That tag thing is interesting though. It seems like the Raw tags are making it and the SmackDown ones aren't,
which makes no sense.
It has to be a deal where they just feel like they own New Day one, right?
Yeah, that's literally what I was about to say. Like, it feels like they were hoping that Big E would get cleared at some time in, like, I don't know, the next few months or something. And I guess the assumption would be that has taken a bit of a knock in terms of planning. And now, obviously, they got kind of left floating and they've been on the TVs, but not really with any real direction until recently when they, you know, made the claim of winning the tag titles. And it's just like, well, you know, they've hit some bad luck. We need to come through with something because they've done the heel turn now.
They've done it. You know we have to do something.
Yeah, as I'm saying, that's been the misstep, I guess, from WWE's point of view. It's like, okay, yeah, it's freshened them up a little bit, but it's like you turn them heel in that big angle with Big E where they just fucking break our hearts, bro. You know, a great angle.
It wasn't even that long ago. Like
I know it's a shame. It's a shame. Like we don't even talk about it now, and it's like it's crazy because it was a fucking great angle, bro. But you know, and obviously, you know, it almost feels like they didn't consider that they didn't actually have the ending
follow-up
locked in before pulling the trigger on such a like monumental angle, you know. So
yeah. Honestly though, answering that question has made me realise it isn't actually like there's a ton of matches that I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to see it. Or it's more that every match is like just in the middle for me, to be honest, you know?
6 out of 10.
Yeah. Ironically, yeah, like I want to see Jay and Gunther because I actually think the build has been really well done. Yeah. And I like Jey Uso, so I care. And Gunther's one of the best wrestlers in the world. Yeah. The rest of the matches, if I was to do excitement, like it would be around a 6 because there are some matches I'm intrigued by. Like Charlotte and Tiffany is intriguing because, you know, there are other matches that I know will be really, like for example, the EO match is going to be incredible. I just don't have like, it's just going to be an incredible showcase of wrestling rather than saying that I have you know, I'm desperate for this person to win. So a lot of it for me is probably in that middle, personally.
Oh God.
What's up?
Nothing. Just
You sure?
Mania. It's been a funny old
Yeah.
time, isn't it? Nashut 23 9.99. Appreciate it. Apologise if I've botched that. The thing that made Elite Drama so good to me was how Ibushi and the Bullet Club OGs and Adam and Cody interacted with Kenny Omega and the Bucks. Those people made it cool because they were challenging the Elite. I mean, the elite melodrama in 2020, elite, Bullet Club, any of that in 2025, bro. I don't care what company it's in. I don't care. The only thing that I'll kind of pop a little bit for conceptually will be like the War Dog stuff, but that isn't like, to me, that's not Bullet Club. Do you know what I mean? Like that's like they're their own thing. Like go on.
I'm just painting a picture here. The War Dogs are running wild, right? It's a new era of Bullet Club. But what happens when the Good Brothers try to join the War Dogs? Then what happens, Are they their dogs for real or not? Now that's the kind of law you and I are looking for, Monty, right? I'm speaking your language here, right?
I don't know, bro. You can talk me into a lot of things with those two. I swear to God, because the idea of like those two just thinking that they get like rite of passage into the War Dogs would actually like pop me a lot.
That is funny, like legitimate. Them walking out and being like, "Boys, we're back,"
Exactly, bro. Exactly. All right, so we got some business to attend to. When I say business, we got paragraph in the bit. Oh, nah, we need to change that around.
Yeah,
that's
the big man is back.
I hate that one. Hate that. Yo, Rob, what is going on? What's up, man?
Yo, I can't lie, bro. Hold on, I'm about to tweet them here. I can't lie, bro. AEW fucking sucks. And this is the reason why AEW fucking sucks. Right?
Whoa.
So we sat here for the last month and a half since the middle of February. And you know what I said on my stream last night, Monty? I said, I feel like we've been manipulated for the last month and a half. You know how Chriso and me and Marcus and Novi and everybody and AO, we've been tweeting like Dynamite's been good for the last month and a half. I've really had so much fun. I feel like we were manipulated into believing Dynamite's been good because we thought we were going to see the dawn of a new day. I feel like we were being manipulated into believing that Martin Luther King's dream was going to come true. That one day we would end the fascist, Aryan, very unfortunate, just super supremacist based run that John Moxley's been on for the last 6 months. Monty, how many days has it been since the AEW championship has been present on TV? Do you know?
Should we actually
Monty.
look it up? So when would it have been? It would have been
October.
the go
October
home 12th. For Dynasty.
Yes, October 12th.
AEW Dynasty. How long has it been? I want the exact amount of days it has been since the AEW audience has seen the AEW World Title in the flesh. So it's sometime in 2024, around about October. Where am I going here?
October 12th. October 12th. That was Wrestle Dream.
Wrestle Dream. Dynamite Title Tuesday. Is this it?
Yes.
Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta defeat Claudio Castagnoli and Pac on the 8th of October 2024. So if I've gone, how many days since October?
Oh my God. October?
I think so, yeah.
That can't be right. There must have been something in between. There has to have been, right? That's 6 months.
Yeah, October.
Oh my
It has
god.
been Monty. It has been 180 days plus since we've seen the AEW World Championship on television.
That's crazy,
know,
bro.
Monty,
That's half.
That's
That's half
fucking
the year, bro.
incredible.
That's half a year, bro. That's crazy.
It might be based, I fear.
You know, Monty, when we had a championship reign this long a couple years ago with with MJF, and I want to publicly deal an apology. I don't know if he's watching, he probably is. I want to deal a public apology to Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Because
Finally.
when I was going through what I was going through 2 years ago with the World Championship, it was mostly Kenny Omega lust, and I just really wanted Kenny Omega to be the world champion. But your reign was through the Brochacho stuff, and yes, I even mean through the Devil storyline. Your reign was nowhere near as bad as Jon Moxley's is. Because you know why, Monty? At least MJF had matches like MJF versus Jay White. Well, while they were terrible, there was reactions in the building. The crowd cared about what was going on. They were invested in what was going on. Jon Moxley has a level of investment to where I didn't even know his match started or ended last night. And I was on stream watching. All of a sudden, I looked down at my phone. I was talking about something else, and all of a sudden the bell rang. Then, afterwards, we get the Young Bucks coming out, and the Elite came out afterwards, which is the Young Bucks and Kenny, and they proceeded to cut the most I don't care about this, what I'm talking about, I am being forced to talk about this promos I have ever seen in my life. The Young Bucks, first of all, Monty, the Young Bucks, people don't bring this up. The whole reason the Young Bucks, I feel like Wendy right now. People don't bring this up. The whole reason that the Young Bucks ran away from AEW in the first place was because of the Death Riders. They lost to Private Party, and then they were afraid that the Death Riders were going to kidnap them and do things to them that they didn't want them to do. And so they ran away from AEW. Kenny brought that up. But he didn't bring up that they were running away from the Death Riders. And now all of a sudden, the Young Bucks are coming back and being like, could you imagine if the Young Bucks joined up with the Elite, joined up with the Death Riders? Yo, Monty, I swear to God, if they would have shook hands on Dynamite last night, there would be a WWE flag on that wall, okay? There would be a WWE flag plastered on the wall. Monty, I would never be on the Dynamite review again. I would simply never be. I would start a Smackdown review to spite.
Well, hold on.
Dynamite, and I hate Smackdown right now. I just don't. I don't get what we watched last night. I don't understand. What are we supposed to? AO was talking about this in Self-Made the other day. Which, by the way, join link in my bio on Twitter. AO was talking about this in Self-Made the other day. What are we supposed to be invested in, Monty? What are we truly supposed to be invested in? Ibu said, "You already have the flag on my wall." Oh, I don't care, nigga. Cry. I don't care. Anyway.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Say, like, what? What the fuck? Anyway, man who was defending Raw ratings with minor league baseball ratings. Anyway, but and back to what we were talking about before I was interrupted by Mock. I don't understand what we're watching here. I don't understand. I don't get it, bro. I'm the only thing I was invested in going into this Dynamite. First of all, I wasn't even supposed to be watching Dynamite, but I had a commitment to make. I had a Dynamite review to do, which in the middle of me watching Dynamite, I felt like a fucking fool because I checked the Dynamite review group chat and everybody's like, "Yeah, not gonna lie, we not doing this." And I was like, "What,
bro?"
What
I
the fuck?
messaged the guys last night in this group chat. I was just kind of like, "Well, Chris tapped out on the spot." he tapped out on the spot, bro. So.
Immediately after the finish of Dynasty, he saw Monty in the audience in the stage, and he said, "Yo, Monty, not gonna lie, I'm not. Don't hit me up for the next 3 weeks of Dynamite review because I'm not doing it. I'm not watching Dynamite." And he stuck to it. He did not watch Dynamite.
He stuck to it. I followed up with him as well. He stuck to it. He ain't trying to watch that shit, bro. So
he did not watch Dynamite last night. So then I'm sitting here in the middle of this Dynamite, and I'm just like things are happening, but I'm not processing anything because I'm just like I'm so mesmerized by how garbage this TV show is right now. I'm watching the Death Riders. I'm watching Swerve and Pac, and then all of a sudden Pac's ankle gets fucked on the buckle bomb. Which shout out to Pac. I hope he does get better. Like I do hope he does get well. Like even though I hate the Death Riders, I don't wish injury on anybody except for like a few people. But I don't wish injury on anybody. I'm not naming those few people either.
The family show.
Nonetheless, but nonetheless, right? I just and then Pac smokes his ankle. After I don't even remember what happened after Pac smokes his ankle, and then the learning tree comes out, and Jericho starts hitting a TV with a baseball bat. Then after Jericho starts hitting a TV with a baseball bat, Will Ospreay and them went out there and wrestled, and that was great. But then afterwards, we get the Hurt Syndicate segment. That was cool. And then after that, we get this main event between this tag team main event, and I'm just like, yo, who gives a fuck about any of this? Who gives a I swear to God, I already know what the Double or Nothing match is, but I swear to God, if they change it, it ends up being Hook versus Mox. I swear to God, bro. I swear to God, bro. I hope that fucking attendance. I hope the attendance number tanks. I hope they don't cross 5K. I genuinely don't hope they cross. They don't deserve to cross 5K. They didn't even deserve to do 650K last night. Like I don't wonder. I mean this wholeheartedly when I say this. I enjoyed the last 3 weeks of NXT more than I enjoyed the Dynamite that we watched last night. Now, granted, NXT is not the greatest show in the world, right?
Nah,
but like, at least there were things on NXT that I was invested in. There were things on NXT that I looked at and I was like, this is bad, but this could be real. First of all, I never really hated NXT like that to begin with because I knew when Melo and Braun and them were leaving, I knew it was going to be bad. I predicted it was going to be bad anyway. So like, Monty's like, I can't believe it's this bad. I was like, nigga, I knew it was gonna be this bad.
It's not even. I just can't believe how much he gets away with.
Hey man, because listen, it's a but at the end of the day, it's a developmental program. Tony Khan is doing this with the best wrestlers in the world. He's doing this with the group of the best wrestlers, some of the best wrestlers in the entire world. And I don't get, bro. Why? So I beg this question, and I'm not wishing this on Darby at all. I'm just bringing up the prospect of it. So let's say, hypothetically, you have all these baby faces going up against Mox within the next 6 months while you're trying to get to Darby. What happens if Darby does not make it back from that mountain, hypothetically, and you run through all of your baby faces while you're waiting on Darby to come back? Who do you have left to believe in? Who do we have left to believe in, Monty? Because I hope y'all don't think Ospreay is winning in Dallas. I hope y'all don't think that's happening. It comes with bulldog choke, nigga. Like, it comes with bulldog choke.
Listen, I gotta stick to the Ospreay thing because you did the prediction show with me, innit? So but I was kind of I had my even though I predicted Swerve to win on Dynasty again. I'm not gonna deny that, but I did say that I do have like my worries because I think they'll do the Ospreay thing at All In, So yeah, I'm gonna stick with my Ospreay prediction, but I'm not very confident on it.
Bro, when that tweet, you know what tweet told me Swerve wasn't winning, by the way? When they sat there and said like a few days before, they were like, they were gonna go with Darby, but they're hoping Darby comes back by June or July. I was like, well, fuck, Swerve's not winning then, I guess. Whatever. But the difference is, and I brought this up, and I wanted Joe's perspective on this. The difference between the Darby story it's basically. If y'all didn't know, the fucking Death Riders are the Aryan bloodline. Like, we know this. We can look at the storyline and look at the matches that they do. It's the Aryan bloodline. Everybody knows this. So it's like the fake Romper Stompers bloodline. But the difference between the Darby story that they're telling, and the Cody, and I'll praise Cody Rhodes on this, right? And I don't even hate Cody Rhodes, but I'll praise Cody Rhodes on this. The difference between Darby and Cody is that Cody was selling out buildings. Cody was selling out buildings. Cody was selling merch, not more than Jey Uso, but he was selling merch. Cody was present. Cody didn't sit there and say, yo, Hunter, I know you're building this entire year around me going to face Roman, but I really, really want to go climb this mountain. So can I take 6 months off and you kind of like bury your whole roster? No, bro. No. He was on Raw every week. You saw him every week. And I got to sit here and wait, and I got to sit here and cross my fingers and cross my fucking heart and be like, man, I hope Darby comes back. I can't do this, bro. I can't do 6 months of this, bro. I can't. I won't. I promise you I won't. I won't, bro. I can't.
Well, now's the time to tap out, bro, because at Wrestle Purist, we're having like a mass injury crisis.
It's starting to worry me, to be honest with you. I don't know how many bumps I've got in me.
Chris has tapped out. You know, Rob is on the edge right now, even though obviously he does the Tuesday show with Ibu, so he's even got that safety net as well. So Rob's really on the edge with this shit right now.
And then the worst part is
Marcus didn't watch Dynamite last night.
WWE sucks too. So like, I have no out now. Where my out is Brooks Jensen now. That's my out. And shout out to Brooks, but that's my out right now. My out is Brooks Jensen.
That's a dangerous place to be.
Dangerous, bro.
You got Tony, please, bro. You have to say no. Just say, yo, if that nigga wanna go beat off in front of 1,000 fans and do Bushido Bloodsport, let him go do it, bro. Who cares? Niggas didn't care when he originally wanted to go do it. Nobody gave a fuck. Only 1,000 people showed up to the building, and only 20 people tweeted about it the next day.
For a minute, I thought you were talking about Darby. I was like, I thought you were going to say if he wants to go beating off up the Mount Everest. I was going to say, bro, what the fuck?
You know what I said to? You know what I said to my? That's what he's fucking doing. And you know what I said to myself last night? You know what I said to myself? I said, you know what? I've been asking myself this question for the last month and a half. I said, you know, with all these people saying no to certain things at WrestleMania, and all these people saying no to doing stuff at WrestleMania, and no, I'm not getting pinned here, no, I'm not getting pinned there. I'm like, yo, why does Triple H doesn't get as much criticism of not quote unquote not being a boss as Tony Khan? But then I thought to myself, and I said, Triple H wouldn't let one of his top guys or one of his upper mid card guys go climb the most dangerous mountain in the world for 6 months and not be on TV. You know what he would sit there and tell him, Monty? You know what he sit there and tell him, Joe? Yo, if you want to go do that, we can give you a release right now, or you can wait till you retire, bro. Well, we got plans for you. We got shit we trying to do with you, bro. I would sit there and tell you, yo, if you want to do that when your contract expires, that's cool. But nigga, do you know how bad it'll look if something happens, God forbid, on your watch, my nigga, and you're letting this just happen? Where's the no?
I said it at the time, bro. I said it at the time when he was talking about it and that, and even like the year before he did like the before he got injured and he had to like put it off for a year and stuff. I was like,
yeah, when of all things a bus saved his fucking life.
Like, I was saying, I'm all for talent having freedom, and it's cool that they get to do other things and they're not completely locked down and imprisoned to the company that they're signed to. But like, there has to be a limit, bro. Like, where else in professional sports would one of the top athletes on a team, or even in WWE on their show, would be allowed to just be like, oh, you know what, actually, let me park this whilst I'm mid-contract and go climb Mount Everest and, you know, call it dramatic or what, and risk my life climbing Mount Everest, risking injury, taking all this time off, etc., etc. Then I'm going to come back and it's cool. Like, that just wouldn't happen. Like, imagine a Premier League footballer trying to do that, bro. Like,
yeah, but the money's different though, man. That's the only problem.
Darby's bro. Yeah, but it's not like Darby's some mid-carder, bro. Darby's
compared to like real sports, the guys are still not making anything on that. You know,
okay, WWE then, bro. I'm just talking. It's more. It's not about like, they're getting paid so much. It's just like Why would
But it is to an extent. What I mean is, this level of investment is lesser, is what I'm saying. But I get your point. My thing is this though, and you've had that opinion for the whole time. So you've been consistent on that. I don't think what Darby's choosing to do is not linked to the issue we have right now. They've made these plans. Yeah, like they've made these plans with full awareness that he's doing this.
Yeah.
It isn't a case of like, Darby, can you not do this so we can put the belt on you? It's literally, Darby's doing this, which gives us more time to do this angle to get ready for Darby when he comes back. So I get it and I understand it. And again, Monty, we've been talking about this for over a year now, right? Because it was last year. Of course it was. It's like... It's to me, I think people are missing the core issue when they point to Darby, because it's like they knew he was doing this.
Yeah, 100%.
They just made the plans.
When I say all that, I'm saying all that completely detached from the Death Riders. Like, I'm just saying, like, if a top talent comes to me as a booker and says, "Yo, I want to do this thing that's dangerous and it's going to take 6 months," I'll be like, "You're fucking mad. That is not." I get
that. Yeah,
you know,
I get that.
It's just a part of it's like, why would you let a valuable asset?
Yes.
Fuck off.
I just wanted to separate it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's good that you bring up that point, because it is a thing that you do see. Like, you see people like almost like very close to pointing a finger at Darby, and it's like, bro, this ain't on Darby. It's not like he's caught anybody by surprise. He's been planning to do this for a hot minute, you know.
Yeah.
Even if I don't agree with them letting him do it, it's like, it's still them. It's still on them to, book creatively, productively.
Yes.
Even with even knowing what the circumstances are with
they knew
Darby,
the whole time. This is not them like booking around something. This is like part of the plan is he's not going to be around for a while. Like this is all worked into that. Now that may be very stupid to you. It is very stupid to me, to be honest with you. I also think part of the issue with this is, and I think Darby Allin is one of their best wrestlers. I think Darby Allin's an incredible wrestler.
Yeah.
Is Darby Allin going to be like an ace of the company? No, I think he's going to be a transitional champion. In which case, why on earth would you do a year saga for a transitional champion? Like, this isn't going to be... Darby's not going to be the centerpiece of the company coming out of this. He's going to drop it to a heel 3 months later, which is probably the weirdest part of all of it to me. But I don't know. It's very strange.
It's just like, I don't think, and look, like, I know I was like a huge fan of a lot of the Bloodline shit, right? But the thing is, I was a fan of the Bloodline stuff, but a lot of the WWE fan base, which is clearly what they're taking this Death Rider, clearly the Death Riders is taking a lot of this shit from the Bloodline storyline. And I don't know how you could look at that storyline and the genuine, like, 90% of the fan base 90% of the fan base reaction and their opinions on it, and sit there and be like, we should do the same thing. Because remember, a lot of the WWE fans that were in love, that weren't really in love with the storyline and really kind of hated it, were mad at what AEW is currently doing right now, which is they were exhausting all of their fucking baby faces, and it got to a point where you didn't believe any baby face was winning. You just wanted to see how they were. You just tuned in to see how they were going to lose this time, and it's just like, I don't understand why you would see that and then take from that and do the exact same thing. Rob, the Fed fans love that shit. No, I'm saying that, like, fans like me loved it, obviously, but when it got to like after Cody, I'm talking about after like Cody Rhodes kind of lost. Going into later on that.
No, okay,
year,
I'll get your point about like the complaints about exhausting the baby faces and stuff.
Yeah, when it got to around LA Night match time, everybody was like, "Okay, bro, like, why? What's the? You might as well just stay home. What's the point of this?" And I just don't understand how you could see that and then take inspiration from that, because that's exactly, you keep talking about. I don't see what AEW has become, but you're doing the exact same thing. And I'm not, I'm not enjoying it because your matches are not enjoyable. The matches aren't enjoyable. Nobody cares.
Yeah, there's definitely some issues that like a big section of the AEW fan base aren't happy with, and like I said, I always try and differentiate that it's a section thing, because the stuff performs pretty well, you know. And I'm not one of those people who be like, oh well, it's good then automatically, because that's stupid to be like, oh well, it draws decent quarters and pay-per-view numbers, so it's good. Like that isn't kind of my line of thinking. But it also does kind of prove that like not everybody hates it, you know. People are interested in whatever Mox is doing, you know. That Mox Cope rematch did like one of their biggest quarter hours in ages, you know. And you know, like it just generally speaking, he does pretty well, even if he doesn't top every quarter hour or top every merch sale list or whatever the fuck, you know. They're not even doing much, are they? I'm sure he's still got some merch on AEW shop, but
yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
But yeah, like I said, and the pay-per-view numbers have been pretty strong, to be honest. So it's like that's kind of what makes it for me and like our friends on like our side of the AEW fan base, whatever you want to call it, our section of the AEW fan base. It's that's where it's like I do worry for our friends like Rob and Chris and the others. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, as much as a lot of people truly hate it, it's not like the success of it has taken a hit because of that. Do you know what I mean? It has maintained a very steady level of success throughout the reign, you know, and we're 6 months in.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Then obviously there was that Fightful report that was like, you know, Swerve. We never heard that Swerve was ever going to beat Moxley at Dynasty, and even before Moxley won the bout, we heard that he was going to be in for a very lengthy reign. So, it's all going to plan from like a business point of view. You know, that's the craziest thing, bro. So,
I don't know. I wanna. Like the last few weeks, like I did like genuinely enjoy myself watching the television, and it's like obviously the shit like me saying I gotta watch Brooks Jensen. Like I obviously I like NXT. Like nobody's denying that. I'll never hate NXT. I'm sorry, bro.
Brooks Jensen twice.
Listen, I listen. I have sat through the worst eras of WWE willingly, so it's like I don't like. So at the end of the day, like I don't care, cry, but like. This shit is just like I'm more annoyed by this shit because it's not what AEW is supposed to be. It's just not.
There's a certain expectation of standard that you have for AEW to not fall into the bullshit that helped create AEW in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So,
bro, I'm not, bro. Remember when bro, with this Rob Brooks Jensen thing, he's gonna when he is y'all said the same thing about Dominic. Y'all said the same thing. Now Dominic's in a championship match at WrestleMania.
You're gonna live on
probably
that Dominic
gonna win.
thing forever.
Probably gonna win. Y'all doubted me about a lot of niggas that's on top right now. So when Brooks Jensen is winning NXT championships and he's winning championships, don't say nothing to me, bro. Don't say you know what I want? I want a written apology. I don't want no apology on a podcast. I don't
even think he's bad. It's just like,
no, I'm talking to Evil. I want a paragraph like you be writing on Twitter. That's the apology I want. I want a written apology so I could put it on my wall.
But yeah, man, like I said, Rob's living on that Dominic Mysterio call. To be fair, deserved, you know, fair enough.
Don't let him fuck around and win the IC title.
But yeah, speaking of I guess kind of the last thing on AEW, since I mentioned it in the title, on top of kind of like a lot of the problems that a lot of fans are feeling that they're having right now, they've been hit by an injury bug, bro, in the past like week or so. So we just mentioned Pac. Obviously, pretty much everyone watching this knows about Pac, and he's hurt his ankle. I believe Brian Alvarez said on Observer Live that he's getting an MRI today. So we'll see if it's a break, a sprain, a fracture, whatever it may be, you know. It might be his foot. It might not even be his fucking ankle. We don't know. So we'll see. Hopefully some more positive updates come out about Pac. Orange Cassidy, he's also injured. I think it was believed to be maybe a torn pec. That's a brutal injury for someone who has probably wrestled more matches than anybody in AEW. He's been a consistent, basically workhorse of the promotion, wrestling literally hundreds of matches at this point. You know, so to lose him for a significant amount of time, I believe for the first time, is it's a big hit, bro. It's a big hit.
Big blow, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's Orange Cassidy. Jay White as well. I think he broke his wrist or some shit like that.
Yes, he hurt his wrist.
He was meant to be in the Owen, and obviously he was going to face Ospreay. But Kevin Knight got that spot.
And apparently on Sunday they put out Fightful put out he was gonna turn heel too. Apparently,
yeah. If Fightful reported that there was a belief among some people in AEW that he was gearing up for a heel turn, and I believe it was either one person or some people implied that it may have played into the Jay White may have played into the finish of.
What I heard, I'm not gonna say but hold on, private chat.
What a beast, dude. Jay White was informed that his pay-per-view plans were as a loss and a heel turn, and he said, this merch money's too good right now, bro. I can't make it.
I was like, what? At the end of the day, that heel turn would have not, I mean, it would have been what Jay needed, but like at that point, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Come on, man. Anyway,
we got Jay White fatigue, bro. We got Jay White fatigue. At that point, we already have Jay White fatigue. Like we have Orange Cassidy fatigue, and it's just like nothing makes sense about it. And it would have sucked even more because it would have been still Swerve losing. So, but it would have been better than the Bucks. It would have made more sense than the fucking Bucks.
Well, I just want Jay White and Juice Robinson to come back together, and everything will be okay. The rest of this stuff can,
good luck with that, mate. Anyway,
I'm locked in on it, dude.
Hey man, I'd fuck with it, bro. As babyface is this time, open some doors.
Do it.
But yeah, man, shout out those guys. Hope they get better soon. There's also been an injury to Mark Davis. Mark Davis just coming back as well. So like, Mark Davis, Jay White, Orange Cassidy, and now Pac as well. 4 really good wrestlers, bro. It's
poor Mark Davis, man.
He can't catch a break. He cannot catch, just as he's building momentum. Because like when he first came out with Dunn, a lot of people were like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
You know. And obviously Mark Davis really good in ring wrestler, bro. And he just kind of worked himself into like being a consistent part of the show, really. You know, and that's a good spot to have. Worked himself into a good spot, and he gets injured again, bro. Brutal stuff. Brutal for all of them, man. Because even Jay, like missing out on the Owen and stuff, and obviously he was about to get like a push / heel turn as well. So it's brutal for him. Orange, long injury, brutal for him. Pac, obviously in the top heel group in the promotion right now, who's in the middle of doing all kinds of shit. Brutal for him. It's tough. So when it rains, it pours. You know. So yeah, AEW, man. Poor AEW, I guess. When it comes to the injuries, we can say poor AEW, not the booking, though. Another noseworthy thing to happen this week, Gunther revealed on the Ariel Helwani show that he has signed a new WWE deal, and he's got a tour bus with the deal, Joe.
This pops me. They don't tour.
What a beast.
It's my favourite bit, the boys, that they don't tour anymore, dude.
I mean...
he just flies to the town, and he gets on a bus, and he goes to the building, and then he gets on the bus and goes to the airport and flies out. It's a status thing, is what it is.
That's what, that is.
I know his game. He just wants a bus.
It's definitely not as good as Cody is.
Yo, you know how
Cody was shooting interviews in his, bro. That's how much he was going in with his.
You just want to be able to say, I've got a bus. So, respect. Gunny's he's done pretty well for himself, ain't it, a big man? Turned out all right, this big American move.
Hey, you know how I know they don't tour no more? I'm not gonna say no names, but there's a couple of niggas that would have got some reports about being kicked off that tour bus. That's how I know they don't tour no more.
It's kind of crazy how like timing has benefited Gunny for his career. Like just when he was about to get whacked by Vince, boom, regime switch, and he's the top guy. It's like, or one of the top guys, I should say. Good for him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like you said, they don't tour no more, so I don't understand the necessity for the tour bus. But it like Ibu said in the chat, it adds to the aura, bro. It does add to the aura.
It does, yeah.
A lot of the top stars, the Lex Express, the Cena tour bus that he had with the fucking built-in kitchen, and all these other. So it's like all these other niggas, bro. You know, you want to be one of the. Yo, you know what I also liked from that interview, Monty? I also like the fact that he kind of admitted, he was like, yo, not gonna lie, like before the Rumble, the last 4 months, I was just kind of sitting here like, yo, what the fuck am I doing? Like, he was like, yo, I was kind of just sitting here like, yo, what's going on? Like, what's happening? What? I kind of like that because that's what we were all thinking.
He's a beast, man.
That's what we were all. Yeah, and he knows that they're scared of him going to the other side, so he could just say whatever he wants to say.
Yeah, Gunther's one of the top guys that like would make a lot of sense for AEW, you know, because like a lot of them, it's like obviously WWE want them to leave, like even like the unrealistic ones like Roman, you know, or someone like that, like someone just like completely never happening. But it's like people, like a lot of those people, like would they even like suit? Obviously they would be successful because they're such huge names and superstars, but it's like how well would they actually like adjust into the AEW environment? Somebody like Gunther's just like he can fucking moonwalk into the AEW environment and be like,
for sure,
and still be maybe even put a even better in ring output in AEW, and he's fucking
the irony
wrestler of the year level in WWE, you know. So
I think you're right, but the irony of that is I think mentally there would actually be a big disconnect there with him and AEW, and I think Gunny is way more of like a traditionalist than people realize with Graps, and I think that would probably be an issue very quickly.
You think niggas will try to like suggest to him?
Way, you know?
Yeah, I think it would be actually quite challenging in that regard. But what Monty's saying is correct. Like,
so I think it would.
It'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
I think the challenge he would kind of like with Gunther is very much like he definitely has an idea of what his character should be and what he should do. So it's more sort of like, you know, I think AEW would absolutely allow him the space to just kind of like
just do his own thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And then it's like,
Good
okay,
call.
we'll feed you fucking Will Ospreay, and like, you know, you'll obviously who wins that, who doesn't win that, whatever. Figure that out at the time, but it's just like
imagine him working Mark Briscoe for the.
I was about to say Mark Briscoe. But yeah, beautiful stuff. All right, this is the last thing I want to touch on, yeah, because it came out yesterday, and since we got Rob here as well, and it's something that we fucking prayed for, bro. We prayed for this because I said, like, I was literally, I think you was on stream with me, Joe. I was like begging that appearance from John Cena on Raw could not be the last appearance before Mania, because that would have been fucking criminal, bro. Like, I prayed for this. I said this could not be the last one, even though that last promo that he did record, it was good. It just could not be the last one, bro. Yesterday, I think on the WWE website, John Cena was set for Smackdown next Friday, so
I will be there.
Joe Hulbert will be fucking there, people.
Me and Cena, brother.
There. Yeah, listen. If people
John
know the
Cena
people
and
know
Joe
the
Hulbert.
yeah, people know the
Same
law.
building.
People know the law. People know the law. The screenshot is out there for people to see. It's how Joe reacts to John Cena. All right, let's wrap this up then. Joe, tell the people to like the video, please.
Please like the video. Monty, did I show you the Briscoe figures, by the way? I know you're a big Briscoe, so did I show you these?
I think.
Okay,
Or it might have been on. You might have shown it on a pod that I was
sweet,
watching. But,
pretty sweet. Oh, it's fucking neat, bro.
beautiful.
Cool as fuck.
Beautiful.
Views. You should like the video. This was a very good video. I thought you should like it. Even when they're shit, you should like it. Really, it helps us, doesn't it? For the algorithm.
Yeah.
The damn algorithm. But there's an LNG Gold thing in a minute with what are they watching again, Monty? Dynamite. January 1st, 2020 Dynamite. AEW Homecoming. Darby and Cody on top, I think, at Dailies. So they're watching that over there on LNG Gold. All tiers will get you in on that one. And like the video.
Like the video, people. Late Night Green Gold. Self-Made Discord. You find the links in the usual places. Joe's bio, Rob's bio, the Self-Made bio, the Late Night Green bio. I think the Late Night Green Gold, the YouTube link, might even be in the description for this video. So if it is, obviously you can get to it through that.
Beautiful.
Wait, are we doing plugs and getting the fuck up out of here, or was I just not? Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know we were getting the fuck up out of here. Sorry.
Getting up out of here, bro.
Sorry. No, I'm probably gonna stream some Crockett tonight in Cord because I've been watching it
Oh
on my own.
yeah,
I've been
let's
watching a lot
fucking
of it on my
go.
own. So I restarted 86. And I'm probably gonna stream 86 in there tonight.
Smoky
So.
Mountain Rob, you know.
Oh my god.
I've been I watched Raging Bull and Jimmy Valiant promo today, and I posted it, and I was like, they would have been like 4-time tag team champions if I had the pen. Like they would have
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that's what I'll be streaming tonight. I can't find any like chronological Mid South episodes or like stuff like that. So if anybody can like find that,
I got you.
I need that.
I got you.
The territories
And I like to start from the beginning. I like to start from 1980 where it gets dark, gritty.
Oh shit.
Where we start getting
I've got
lights.
all the. If you ever need it, I've got I've got basically the whole network on hard drives. So
I got it, bro.
I've got what is it? What's on there? Mid Atlantic, Mid South.
Yeah.
There's some AWA on there. There's all kinds of shit on there. All the stuff at WWE had on the live.
Yeah, a lot of people see like me. We'll be watching like 2010s WWE in there and shit like that. But like that's all, bro. A lot of us watching that was because we were doing like a Wheel of Mania where we were putting manias on a wheel and we were just picking a random match or like random good matches from that period. But I'm gonna start watching some real shit in there probably tonight. So make sure y'all tap in. I'll probably, Ibu said Monty slide me 2000 2001 Raw.
2000, 2001 Raw. You don't need me for that, bro.
I
I didn't save all that. I can find you the links to that shit if you need it. That shit did not need saving, bro. Like anybody can fucking find that. You know, like
I'll send you the link to the archive that they have on Watch Wrestling for all
that's
those.
actually
have, like,
it's pretty good. It's not great, but like for stuff like that, it's pretty decent.
Yeah, like they have a great collection on Watch Wrestling of a lot of 2000s 90s shit. So.
Yeah, Ibu was like, you just said you had the network. The shit that like needed saving, bro. The shit that I was actually worried about, like just disappearing and being like mad hard to find. You know what I'm saying? So like Raw, Ibu saying no, us Americans don't have Raw anymore. LMAO, bro. You're talking about like, yeah, okay, you're not gonna get it on Netflix, but I'm talking. It's not hard to like find these links. Do you know what I mean? And ask around and fight like for fucking 2001 Raw. It's the most popular time in wrestling history. You know what I mean? The stuff I said was like the territory stuff, bro. You know, like the shit that like I said, the stuff that is like, and even some WWE stuff like the Madison Square Garden shows and shit like that, the arena shows, like the old arena shows from the 80s and stuff like that. Some of the WCW like hidden gems and all that sort of shit. That's the stuff I've got saved. Not like 01 Raw and 06 Smackdown and shit. It's like I can find that on Watch Wrestling or any other places, Reddit, and do you know what I mean? I can find.
Yeah,
that
no,
shit.
SmackDown's still on Peacock. All the entire SmackDown library that's the only one they haven't moved. So, and NXT's on Tubi, but not everything.
It's a USA deal, isn't it? I was thinking that's weird, but it's the USA deal, obviously. All right, people. Like I said, please like the video because again, haven't plugged them nearly enough, and it helps out a lot if you do like the video and engage with the video. If you're watching this on replay, leave us a comment as well. Appreciate you guys interacting in the live chat. Appreciate all the super chats as always. We'll be back on Monday with Worldwide, I think. Yeah. Monday on Worldwide, I think so. Lock in, people, and we'll see you Monday. Peace.